Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show, live on Thursday, July 27th. How the heck are you? A pleasure to be with you. As always, we are presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. And again, we have 1 week to go. The Advocates are working with the Road Home, the foremost homeless advocates in the country, to provide the basic needs that school-age kids need to get their education. And I'm not even talking about school supplies, backpacks. I'm talking about socks, underwear, shoes. There are so many kids who don't have those basic needs. They don't know where they're going to sleep every night. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. Imagine all of that combined with the fact that you don't have socks or underwear to wear to school. That's where the Advocates and the Road Home come in. You see the Venmo address on the screen. If you have $1, $5, $1 million, please consider Venmoing the Advocates. Advocates donations at Venmo.com, or just download the Venmo app. It's way easier. And every dollar you give goes right to a homeless kid to help them achieve the best education they can. So, anybody got anything to talk about today?
I mean, I don't know.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Obviously, we are reacting to a lot of news today. We've spent the morning working very hard to get you the latest in this Big 12 expansion story. As you know, it is now just a formality. The presidents of the Big 12 late last night voted to extend an offer to Colorado. So we told you on the show yesterday that is simply a formality. And you look at this situation with Colorado and the Pac-12, I think the biggest question, without a doubt, the biggest question here, how did this happen again in the Pac-12? Because this is not the first time. It is the second time. In a disastrous tenure now for George Kliavkoff continues. And you look at how this went down. Our sources told us that Colorado was on board, and Phil DiStefano as much said this last week. Hey, we're going to wait for the TV deal. We are in this conference. All of the 10 members are united in waiting for this number that was supposed to be delivered a week ago today in a call with all of the leadership of the Pac-12. George Kliavkoff was supposed to deliver a TV deal and a number for consideration in that meeting. Not only was there no number, there was no TV deal. And I am told the tipping point for Colorado and several other members of this conference was that there's no path forward and no deal close. And one of the leading instigators from our sources in trying to keep everybody together had been Kirk Schultz, who stepped in as soon as George had some flubs and had some moments on this call where several of the presidents were frustrated. Kirk Schultz tried to step in. He was loudly interrupted. That moment in time is where I am told Colorado made the decision to put their foot on the gas and take the exit ramp to the Big 12. And the hardest part of all of this is we got a report last week from Heather Dinich at ESPN that chapter and verse quoted Kirk Schultz. And I am told that that report and Kirk Schultz's continuing discussions and public commenting about a deal being imminent and close, and we are going to be on par, if not better than the Big 12, continued to rub presidents the wrong way. He was asked, according to my sources, several times not to speak publicly, which, if you remember, he didn't speak. Nobody spoke for several weeks. And then Kirk Schultz, the words that were used to me were, could not help himself, and spoke publicly and really grinded some people out. When he was chastised for that, he went to Heather Dinich at ESPN and used just about the exact same language he's used for months now, and people saw right through it. That's the moment that Colorado, and I think several others who we're going to get to in a minute, Jake, decided to leave this conference. And ultimately, sure, Kirk Schultz is going to have a role in this novel, because I think the 30 for 30 on the collapse of the Pac-12 is going to be epic. But I don't think there's any question at this point in time almost unequivocally that this is on George Kliavkoff. He came to a meeting that he was pressured to call last week with no numbers and no deal and no avenue to a deal. And Jake, I think that's why Colorado is joining the Big 12 today.
Yeah, and I think that you can't show up to meetings with nothing as a commissioner. I mean, as a commissioner, it's a general baseline that you will have a heading or a direction with where you want your conference to go, and that's kind of the problem for George, is that it doesn't ever seem like there's a direction or a path or a heading that he wants to take the conference, and I don't buy any of this nonsense coming out in reports and in news that that they had no idea or that they are somehow surprised. Like, if you were surprised by Colorado's departure, then it just confirms what we think of you already, which is you're not a great commissioner for the Pac-12. And yeah, I mean, I've been saying, and we've been saying on this show for how long, probably 6 months at least, maybe longer, that George Kliavkoff is not helping to keep this conference alive and afloat. His actions, generally speaking, further the downward trend of the Pac-12, because he's just not bringing them any sort of solution or positivity or any kind of actionable item that allows them to make progress when you compare them to other conferences or even just in their situation. So yeah, I do think right now, in the immediate past, the last week or so, yeah, I think Colorado's departure is on George. But I think when we look at the last 10 months, like, George has had ample opportunity to bring a TV deal forth and hasn't done it. And we can sit here and buy into the excuses, I guess, from George Kliavkoff, which are, hey, if I thought, these presidents would have liked this deal or that deal, I would have brought it to them. If I knew that someone was leaving, I'd rush to, hurry up and get this deal done. Like, all these different angles that he's trying to play. And the simple truth is that you've never had a deal that was robust or complete enough to present to the presidents, because you're not capable of getting one, in my opinion. Your product is not good enough, right? Overall, it's not relevant enough. B, because you turned down the merger with the Big 12 that Fox and ESPN proposed, that puts you in a really poor negotiating position. And then C, I just look at the conference overall, and when you look at the conference compared to other conferences right now, it's very clear that their reputation and their image is negative. So it basically would be, I'm not going to say impossible, but it would be very difficult right now for the Pac-12 to get a TV deal that's on par with the Big 12 even. It would be incredibly difficult, and that's because of what George has done. Or really not done. So, yeah, I think Colorado's departure, yeah, it is on George. There's a good portion of it that's on George. But I think, ultimately, like, this has been something that's been building over, a long period of time. And
but I also think it's interesting that you bring up Pac-12 expansion, because what I find fascinating is people do not recognize that San Diego State may well not be an option for the Pac-12. Because it's no longer $17 million, which San Diego State couldn't afford to pay as an exit fee.
Mm-hmm.
It's now $34 million if they want to join the conference next year. So you really are down. And I think if this conference expands, and I am not convinced that it will, I think they will try. And I am told that a meeting in the Pac-12 is going to kick off here in less than an hour now. But I think if you want to add San Diego State, I think that's going to cost the Pac-12 a ton of money. And my biggest question is, can you expand without San Diego State? And can you add SMU and Fresno State, or SMU and Boise? Or I don't know. But again, everybody keeps talking about Mountain West teams. Dude, do you want to leave the conference now? That's $34 million.
Yep.
Who in the Mountain West has that kind of money? SMU? I mean, you look at SMU, that may be an option. Tulane, that may be an option. But you're really in a position where you went past a deadline, and now it's coming back to bite you. And the one thing I'll say I disagree with you on, I don't think George Kliavkoff had any idea this was coming from Colorado. I don't think anybody on the executive committee, I don't think any of the presidents, I don't think any of them knew that Colorado was going to act so quickly. I don't think any of them knew. And even as contentious and frustrating, and contentious is probably strong, but last Thursday, that meeting there was clear frustration voiced and demonstrated from all corners of the remaining 10 schools in this conference. To have no idea, and the very idea that George Kliavkoff did not reach out to Phil DiStefano, and that you allowed Colorado and Rick George to take these steps unbeknownst to your own self is grounds for termination. And this is not the first time. And it's not even that this is Colorado leaving. It's not even that it's USC and UCLA. It's not even that you don't have a TV deal. Go back to that, Pac-12, ACC, Big Ten thing that they tried to do, the alliance. What is that? What fruit has that bore out?
Mm-hmm.
Not financial, not scheduling. Like you haven't really realized anything that George Kliavkoff has set out to do. And it's shocking to me that here we sit today and you have no angle, you have no avenue, you have no way to save yourself now. And listen, I understand it. People are going to say, oh, well, they're going to expand. And, John Canzano being an absolute jackwagon talking about how they can upgrade from Colorado.
Trade up.
How are you going to upgrade from Colorado? You don't have a P5 option. San Diego State's $34 million. Let's say they add San Diego State. Who's paying that bill? Who's paying that $34 million? By the way, if you're in negotiations with the Pac-12 on a TV deal, didn't your price just go way down? Didn't the value of this conference just go way down? Because now they are a wounded duck. They can't fly. You're going to pay less for that. You are going to lower your offer to the Pac-12. And it's remarkable to me, the malfeasance that this conference has been managed under for the last decade plus.
And I've always been surprised by the concept of, hey, nobody saw Colorado acting this fast or quickly or in the manner with which they have here. Have they really acted this fast? Like, have they?
Oh,
really?
I think they did.
Oh, I disagree.
I think Colorado. Look at the timeline.
Yeah.
They spent 10 months flirting with the Big 12. 10 months. They said our sources told us that Colorado told Brett Yormark and his team, we need to put the brakes on this because about a month ago, 3 weeks ago-ish now, all the presidents got together and agreed that they were going to wait. They told George Kliavkoff, we're going to give you until kickoff to get this deal done, to deliver it, signed, sealed, and delivered by kickoff of the season. I've been told that by multiple sources. The problem is you came to that meeting last Thursday with no action, no money, because you didn't have a deal and you don't have an avenue to a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so last Thursday night, I was told point blank by a source today, last Thursday night, Colorado said, we're done. That was a breaking point, not on the call. They got off the call and privately amongst their leadership said, we're done.
Pack this thing up. We're out of here.
We're done. That's why Rick George left Pac-12 Media Day so quickly.
Yeah.
You knew there was trouble. So when you say that it wasn't quick, I think it was very quick.
I just mean in the parlance of the conversation. Dude, the conference has been building to a negative result for quite some time. I mean, again, we can all sit here.
I would agree with that.
And everybody can, and I love how, respectfully, all these guys who are Pac-12, supporters and make a living on the Pac-12 want to sit here and talk about how the conference is going to trade up and they're so surprised by this and, oh my goodness, I'm not surprised by this. Again, everyone wants to say, oh, well, you got to have a TV deal by then or you got to get it done by this deadline. You can't let free agents evaluate the market and go unchecked for over a year at a time.
That's right.
Dude, if you give people options, they will evaluate their options and say, have a nice day, we're going to go make more money. Why would they not? Right? So to me, yeah, sure, did the actual action of Colorado saying we're done happen in a quick fashion? Yes, it happened in a quick fashion. It was a reaction to an embarrassing conference call with George Kliavkoff which they were frustrated with, and they said, "We're out. We're done. We're moving along here." But this has been building. Why did they have that reaction? Because call after call, meeting after meeting, expectation after expectation was set that you would have a media deal. Remember, let's not forget, and I like to remind people of this, the original number was $50 million a year. We're going to be third among the P5. We're going to have $50 million a year.
And we
you can't
heard
even
that.
break 20.
We heard that on multiple fronts across Pac-12 media. And whether it was in Eugene on their radio stations, whether it was in Salt Lake City on the Utah Utes radio station, I mean, to a man, every one of these universities, $50 million, $50 million. And George Kliavkoff, to his credit, had the balls to go out and ask for that money because he was never getting that. But I want to share a picture that Scotty and a bunch of guys on Twitter sent me from the Colorado Board of Regents meeting that is happening right now. And you'll notice Chancellor DiStefano and Rick George are at the top center of that.
Uh-huh.
So this is going down. I mean, this is happening right now.
Yeah.
And I think once that's over, I don't think, by the way, it's any coincidence that the Pac-12 scheduled their call for when this meeting is over, when it's scheduled to end. And I just, again, want to tell you, this did not have to happen. It is completely self-inflicted damage. 100%. George Kliavkoff did not only not upgrade Larry Scott, I believe he backslid from Larry Scott. I think that George Kliavkoff has done more irreparable harm to this league with whether it's his comments, his inability to speak in public, his inability to do interviews. I mean, he just he ain't that guy. He's not him.
Yeah.
And none of this had to happen. But the other thing I think we need to really talk about, and I think this might be the most important part of this conversation, what is next for Oregon and Washington? Because we have talked about this ad nauseum now. Losing Colorado is not a death knell, but what does Colorado's exit from the conference do? Leaves you at 9 teams with no clear path to expand. So if you're at 9 teams and you know that the college football playoff bowl allocations are not official and are not sealed, signed, and delivered, like, hey, conference champions of the Pac-12 are going to get a spot. You haven't heard that. And one of the things that's very interesting here is if you're a 9-team conference, do you have a conference championship game? Because there's a lot of thinking, and anybody that's a Big 12 fan knows this exact conversation. Why did the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship go away? Because you didn't have 10 teams. And so the question is, do you have a conference championship game? By the way, do you have the respect and attention of the rest of the college football world when you only have 9 teams? And my answer would be, well, probably not. Oh, by the way, do you have the ability to schedule? Because if you're only going to play 9 different teams in your conference, don't you have to add a marquee P5 out-of-conference game to your schedule? That's an awfully difficult place to be when a lot of people's opinion are if you only have 9 teams, you are no longer going to be respected as a P5 conference. Whether that ever comes to fruition in reality, I don't know. But if you only have 9 teams and none of them are USC and UCLA, you're in real trouble here. And I think for certain, Oregon and Washington recognize that. I am also told for certain that they are talking to a lot of different people in their institutions. I am told that they do, in fact, have calls scheduled with the Big 12. Those have not happened yet. They do not have action currently scheduled with the Big 10. The Big 10 has stayed way out of this over the last 24 hours from my sourcing. I think at some point that has to change. I don't know, but I think it is really interesting that you are losing Colorado now. And Washington and Oregon have to act. Utah has to act. Because if you don't act, I firmly believe, from what I understand, I firmly believe this conference becomes irrelevant if they stay at 9. And it's going to be very difficult for anybody left in this 9-team conference, Jake, to compete for a spot in the college football playoff. And I think that's absolutely a death knell.
Yeah, well, hasn't it already been tough for the Pac-12 to compete in the college football playoff? I mean, if we're being honest, hasn't the conference already struggled to represent itself well in the college football playoff? And I know it expands next year, right? The format's changing. There's a lot more opportunity. You know, if we weren't going through this in the Pac-12, it'd be easy to say, hey, yeah, they're going to have good representation, probably 2-3 teams there. Like, totally understand and buy into that, and I don't even disagree. But the reality of the situation is yeah, I mean, if you're other conference heads, if you're other conference leadership and you're looking out west at the Pac-12, isn't it just a matter of time? Like, let's say that, you know, hey, Colorado leaves, you know, one more school probably goes with them. Who knows who that's going to be? And you're at 8 teams and you expand and you find your way back to 9, right? At that point, aren't we just delaying the inevitable? Right? Aren't we just saying, okay, yeah, you found a way to survive for now?
Little breaking news for you out of Boulder. It is official. Colorado Board of Regents votes unanimously to leave the Pac-12 and accept the offer from the Big 12 to start playing the conference less than a year from now. July 1st of 2024, the Colorado Buffaloes will join the Big 12. It is done. That is remarkable. And it's, to me, this is where now things are about to roll downhill. Yeah. We're about to find out how loyal a hungry dog really is.
Yeah.
Because I think I think Arizona is likely the next domino, and I think you need to keep a very close eye on Oregon and Washington, because I think this conference's viability is now in question, in real serious question.
Yeah.
I just. How do you continue with only 9 teams?
Well, if you're another team, like if you're Arizona, Oregon, Washington, Utah, like any of these nameplates in the Pac-12, athletically speaking, if you're
not to interrupt you again, a source very close to Arizona says the Arizona Board of Regents stands ready to act early next week after a call last night with all involved principals from ASU and Arizona. So the Arizona Board of Regents, which, by the way, again, I think this is an important detail. The Arizona Board of Regents manages, essentially, Arizona and Arizona State. And their past history is a little murky, but most people believe that Arizona and Arizona State can act as separate entities. The Arizona Board of Regents has made it very clear they do not want them to do that. And when there were suggestions that Arizona would leave for the Big 12 because ASU wants to stay, the Arizona Board of Regents told us, a source at the Board of Regents told us, that they would do everything that they could do to make it difficult financially for Arizona to do that. So it's going to be interesting now, and I want to make sure that I read that chapter and verse. Arizona Board of Regents stands ready to act early next week after a call last night with all principals involved from Arizona and Arizona State. So, it's over. It's over. I would be surprised if the Pac-12 doesn't lose at least 4 teams. At least 4 teams. And I'd be really surprised if the Big Ten did not get involved with Oregon and Washington.
I just think the opportunity's ringing.
I'd be really surprised if and by the way, I reached out to our Utah sources today and they had nothing to say. Nothing to say today. And I think it's going to be very interesting now to find out who's really loyal to this conference. How much does academic money mean? Because I'm not sure it means that much. I am not sure it means that much.
Well, and I think if you're able to keep your relationships together academically, that's what I'm saying. Like, this was my point yesterday on the show, for all you who listened yesterday, right? You remember me saying, hey, if it's Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal that go to the Big Ten, let's say,
yes,
your relationship there still stays intact. Remember that old saying? Remember 6 months ago when the hot nomenclature was pods of schools would go to different conferences?
Yes.
So that's where this comes into play. Hey, the pods of schools, Washington, Oregon, Stanford, and Cal, and their academics are going to move together because, I don't know, what was it, Stanford, I think you said, just publicly let it be known that they made like $12 billion in the last quarter or whatever it was, like some ridiculous number. So, athletic money is pennies on the dollar for these schools. You need to keep that in mind. But the academic money is what truly matters, and that's why they want to move together.
Another text comes in that says the Big 12 will make an announcement making it official with Colorado within moments. So this is going to move very quickly. This is going to move very quickly.
Yeah.
So this was, and I think we told you this last night on the show, that this was a formality. This was absolutely a formality. There was, I don't think that there was ever going to be a question about this, and it's a huge day. You are experiencing something we've never seen like this before.
Yeah.
Absolute betrayal. Absolute betrayal from a single entity that could bring down an entire conference.
Facts.
I don't know that we've
That's not an exaggeration.
I don't think we've ever seen that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
I really don't. It'll be very interesting to me. Who's the next one to go? I have to think it's Arizona. I have to think it's Arizona. Now that the Board of Regents is waiting and ready, and I think it has to be. It has to be Arizona because it makes no sense. Again, with a 9-team league, this league is dead in basketball. The Pac-12 has not been relevant in basketball for several years. This Bronny James situation at USC told you how powerful USC is as a basketball entity in this league. They're gone. UCLA's gone. What incentive does Arizona have to stay in the Pac-12? I don't see any incentive. I have to believe that they are the next to go.
Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense, and that's why I say, like, again, it's this whole concept of, hey, it's started now. The door is open. So if you're one of these schools that was on the fence about, hey, are we going to stay? Are we really going to take this whole moving conference thing seriously? Well, hey, you've got the folks at Colorado who took it very seriously. They've moved. Hey, you got the folks at Arizona who potentially are taking it very seriously and are going to move. Who else is going to go along with that movement? Because again, I can't deny the concept of these schools talk to these conferences. You can't tell me Tony Petitti hasn't talked to Washington, Oregon, Stanford, and Cal.
Yeah, you
can't
know
tell
he
me.
has. By the way, Ross Dellinger and just about every other voice is now saying that the Big 12 is expected to make a statement announcing the arrival of Colorado. So
there you go.
I mean, now it's been picked up everywhere. What an amazing day! I don't know what you do. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you do if you are the mouthpieces in this conference. This is a very dark day because there is no coming back from this. Athletic Director Rick George and Phil DiStefano have released a statement that says, after careful thought and consideration, it was determined that a switch in conference would give CU Boulder the stability and resources and exposure necessary for long-term future success in a college athletic environment that is constantly evolving. Whoa.
Wow, that is a shot, dude.
That is a punch in the face of the Pac-12. And, I mean, just think about what that statement means. Give CU Boulder stability, resources, and exposure necessary for long-term future success. So you were not getting stability, resources, or exposure. And what do we always say about reach?
Hey.
Reach equals money. And when you don't have reach, a TV deal, you're not going to make money.
It's truth.
That is a punch in the face. The Big 12's national reach, there's that word again, across 3 time zones, as well as our shared creative vision for the future, we feel makes it an excellent fit for CU Boulder, our students, faculty, and alumni. These decisions are never easy. We have valued our 12 years as a proud member of the Pac-12 Conference. We look forward to achieving new goals while embarking on this exciting next era as members of the Big 12 Conference. Wow, that is the public statement from Colorado, as it is now official that Colorado is joining the Big 12. The Colorado Board of Regents votes unanimously to authorize it, and this is historic.
Yeah, and I think
it's incredible.
I think there's a couple lines in there that really speak to their frustration.
Yes.
I think that talking about opportunity, talking about long-term viability as, the college athletic environment is constantly evolving. Yeah, the English and basic version of that is, hey, college athletics are always changing, always evolving. The TV landscape is always evolving, and we trust Brett Yormark more to handle the business ops of a evolving marketplace. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? The guy's been on the job a year and has done a remarkable job. Now, it's only been a year. Who the hell knows where he's at in 5? But so far, it's been pretty good. And that's why I say it just isn't. This is not hard to understand. Logically speaking, it's not hard to understand why Arizona would want to be in the Big 12. Not hard to understand why Washington and Oregon are concerned about being trapped in a Pac-12 conference that's not nationally respected and limits their ability to get to the college football playoff. I mean, that's not hard to understand. So for me, again, now that this is official, I have no problem saying the door is open. And choices are it's now time to make choices. Like Utah, it's time to make your choice, right? Oregon, Washington, it's time to make a choice.
Yep. And now thank you to Chris Karn, our great Chicago Bears fan, who tweeted me the statement from the Big 12. It is short. It is sweet. It is Michael Jordan-esque. Irving, Texas. The following statement released today by the Big 12 Conference through its commissioner, Brett Yormark, regarding the University of Colorado. Quote, they're back.
Well
End
played.
Quote. That's the entirety of the statement.
That's what I love about this guy. Like, can I just slurp Brett Yormark for a second? That's what I love about this dude. This is so on point. We're not going to release a novel about Colorado, right? Everything that needs to be said is already being said. So all we're going to do is say 2 words, and that's it, because that says everything that needs to be said. Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
Yes. Business
ops out of Brett Yormark. It's that simple.
I know I keep saying this, you guys, but I'm stunned. I can't believe the Pac-12 is on the verge of collapse.
It's incredible.
They should never have been here. I don't even know what you say about that. This breaking news is brought to you by our good friends at Super Chicks in Ogden on Riverdale Road, and their store in St. George as well. You guys, Super Chicks is the best chicken sandwich in the business. All of their produce is always fresh, chopped in-house every single day, as are their French fries. They make their custard in-house every day. The best shakes, the best sandwiches. Go in there, get it deluxe. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. It is Super Chicks in Ogden on Riverdale Road, as well as in St. George. I'm telling you, if you have not been to Super Chicks, you are missing out. There is no other sandwich. There is only Super Chicks. Colorado is going to the Big 12. It is official. The Board of Regents votes unanimously to leave the Pac-12 and join the Big 12. And again, the Big 12 has released this statement simply saying, quote unquote, they're back. And
incredible.
It's a historic day. Let's get your comments in here. Zach Sloter says, hi, guys. Let's say the Big 12 added Oregon State, ASU, Arizona, and Colorado. Could you see them adding Utah and UConn to be the numbers even? Go Cyclones. I don't think balanced conferences are more important than quality conferences.
Right.
So we can sit here and we can talk about Oregon State. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Oregon State, because I do think they are the sleeper. But as I said today, I am told that absolutely Oregon and Washington are expected to later tonight or first thing tomorrow talk to Brett Yormark and his team at the Big 12. That would be an unbelievable raid. It would if Oregon and or Washington end up in the Big 12, my God, that would be apocalyptic. It would be
like death knell.
It would be unreal.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
If that were to happen, it is more impactful to the health of the conference than even Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12.
Agreed.
I mean, it would absolutely – this conference would be done. It would be over.
Well, and I think if the Big 12 were to add Oregon and Washington, I think we got to start talking about whether the Big 12 has surpassed the Big 10 or not. Because at that point, revenue-wise, certainly they haven't. But on the football field, I think there's no getting around it.
Yeah.
That the Big 12 is superior.
Yep. Harry Austin gives us $15 to say, here's a thought. Any chance we can end up What's that?
No, go ahead.
Any chance we can end up with a Pac-12 Big 12 merger? However, it will be the Big 12 taking all the Pac-12 teams. I mean, it's a possibility.
I mean, merger is the word you want to use. I mean, they're not merging anything clearly. I mean, that's not going to happen. They will take teams. They're not merging.
There is clearly an issue with Washington State. That's the one university where they're radioactive, in my opinion. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard how far in the athletic budget hole they are. Again, the Nick Rolovich lawsuit, the mismanagement of the budget, in some people's opinion, at Washington State. Kurt Schultz is just not well respected on his own campus, I am told. I mean, you had a faculty revolt essentially a month ago now. I mean, they have real foundational issues at Washington State. I can't imagine a like-for-like lock, stock, and barrel merger where all the Pac-12 teams go to the Big 12.
No way.
I just cannot see that happening. I think it's far more likely that the Big 12 takes 4 Pac-12 teams. I don't know why. I mean, if you went to 18 teams, I think that'd be the maximum.
Yeah.
But if you took 6 teams out of this conference, I think the remaining teams or universities, it'd end up in the Mountain West. I mean, that to me is the only logical merger scenario.
Right.
I think Brett Yormark he's in the driver's seat here.
Yeah.
I think that George Kliavkoff is managing his last moments as commissioner of the Pac-12, whether the conference dies or he gets terminated. I don't know how this guy still has a job. He's not made you money. He's not improved your contract with your TV partners. In fact, he's damaged your relationship by some accounts, in some people's opinions, with the TV partners. You haven't expanded your footprint. You have lost now 3 schools completely blind. You had no idea this was happening. I mean, it's a fairly hefty indictment on the incompetence of Brett Yormark. So, I mean, sure, Harry, that could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it is highly unlikely in my opinion.
I just don't think Brett Yormark and company have any incentive to merge. Why would you acquiesce now? I mean, you quite literally have suffocated this conference. Brett Yormark has been patient as they come, right? He has been just on point with how patient he's been, and that's allowed him to start making deals like this, right? Because you've allowed these schools to go through their process, and you've been the guy, right? And all my sales guys out there know this concept. If you're going to act thirsty with your clients, they're never going to work with you. And what has Brett Yormark done? He said, hey, we're going to let this situation play out.
Yeah.
But while this is playing out, hey, we're going to do Rucker Park. We're going to do Mexico City.
Yeah.
We're going to do all this great stuff and just continue building our brand. And once they come calling, once they're frustrated enough to reach out, then we will execute. And that's where we are right now in the timeline.
Yeah, and I truly think that you're just in a position now where Brett's got to be aggressive. If you're the Big 12, you've got to put your foot on the gas pedal, and you have got to get what you can get right here, which is why I believe that the Big 10 will act here. Mm-hmm. I think the Big 10 has to act. There's too much equity in Stanford, Cal, Washington, and Oregon not to at least explore it. Knowing the legwork that you've done, knowing the effort you put in to fund that move, now there's no longer, hey, we're getting rated by the big, bad, awful Big 10.
Yeah, that's over.
That's all over with. Deion Sanders wears that crown in the Pac-12 now, right? So I don't see any way that Brett Yormark doesn't make more advances. I don't see any way that the Big 10 does not come in here and try to grab more property and more footprint, because Brett's talked all along, and look what the Colorado statement said, 3 time zones.
Yes.
3. Specifically, Phil DiStefano said 3 time zones. They're going to add the Pacific time zone.
Yep.
And whether that is Gonzaga, whether that is Oregon State, the Arizonas, they're going to add the Pacific time zone. There is no question about that. And it's simply a matter of who's going to be in the Pacific time zone. Because, by the way, Oregon, Eugene, and Washington, Seattle, they're in the Pacific time zone. So you can not only add, you can control the Pacific time zone. If you can get Oregon, Washington, if you can get, hey, listen, Gonzaga, Arizona State, great. Leave the rest to fend for themselves. That's not your concern here. And if I'm Brett Yormark, I am not concerned about the way this looks. I am not concerned about what people think of this conference at all. I am telling you right now, you have to do what's best for the long-term health of this conference by not making the same mistake the Pac-12 made. By not crushing your opponent. Take your foot and put it on George Kliavkoff's throat.
Yep.
And choke him out.
Yep.
Because it's over.
I agree.
You have a chance to end that conference. And I don't care if they had San Diego State, Fresno State, your mom's sewing circle. It doesn't matter. As soon as they lose one more member, it's over.
Facts.
It's done. Nobody's hanging out in an 8-team conference that can't afford to subsidize San Diego State coming into the conference.
Yeah.
It's over. And if I am the Big 12, the perfect plan for me is I am adding Colorado, Arizona, Utah, and if I can get Oregon and Washington, absolutely. But I'm adding Colorado, Arizona, Utah, and Oregon State. I'm adding those 4 teams. And, hey, if Oregon and Washington and absolutely Stanford and Cal want to come along for the ride, let's do this thing, dude.
Yeah.
But at a minimum, I am not a believer in Arizona State. We have talked about this. If you're new to the show, and I see a lot of new people here, please make sure you give us a thumbs up. Hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the show. Arizona State's a problem.
Yeah.
And I know that, hey, everybody is like, oh, but Monty, it's Arizona State. What does that mean?
Dilly dilly.
What does that mean? Because by Ray Anderson, they're horrendous, incompetent, Kliavkoff-type athletic director, Ray Anderson in Arizona State. He said, yeah, we're a top 15 team. That's who we are. That's who you are, really. Meanwhile, I've got Bobby Robbins down in Tucson talking about, Arizona. And that they're the thing he enjoys about the Big 12 is they're a basketball powerhouse.
Which they are.
Well, Arizona knows who they are and where they are, and they certainly know they're not a football school, with all due respect to Jed Fish.
Yeah.
Do you think Arizona State has a value right now as a wounded dog coming out of what's going to be significant sanctions? And do you think that guys like Kenny Dillingham are thrilled to have the job at Arizona State? Staying in the PAC-8? Is that exciting? Because it's not. Do you think Dan Lanning signed this massive contract extension at Oregon today? Did you guys hear about this? A $45 million extension, essentially doubled his pay to $7 million a season. A $20 million buyout that Lanning will owe the school personally. And it's fully guaranteed. You think they pay guys like that to be in the PAC-8?
Pac-10.
You think Oregon's just hanging out? No, they're not. They're not.
And do you think Dan Lanning is signing that if he's just chilling in the Pac-8? Come on.
If he doesn't have a plan, I don't think so.
Dude.
And I just go back to Arizona State versus Oregon versus whoever. Arizona State doesn't win. Arizona State doesn't pull. Arizona is a brand. What is the brand of Arizona State athletics?
Problem child.
No, it's Pat Tillman.
Wow.
It's Pat Tillman. And with Pat Tillman, you get a legend. But why is he a legend? Because he walked away from an NFL contract to go give his life for our freedom. Not because Arizona State and their football program, and did he excel at Arizona State? He did. Did it lead him to the NFL? It did. But you're not an athletic powerhouse. You're not a baseball powerhouse. You know what you are? You're a hockey powerhouse. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, it's true.
The hockey program is arguably the best part of Arizona State athletics. And if you think I'm joking, go check it out. Go check out their brand new hockey arena. Go check out their brand new training facility. Because it's not a brand new basketball facility. They have a renovated Sun Devil Stadium, but their facilities aren't, second to none.
Yeah.
Arizona State has always been overvalued. They're overvalued now, and you know who overvalues them more than anybody else? Fucking Arizona State overvalues Arizona State more than anybody else.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm telling you, the must-haves in this wounded duck of a Pac-12, the must-haves, Oregon and Washington. Full stop athletically. Add Stanford and Cal, they print money academically. Add them if you can add them. But if we're being realistic for the Big 12, the must-haves in this conference, you got Deion. Now you got to have Arizona. Then you got to have Utah. And I think you got to have Gonzaga. Those are the ones that you must have. If you can get Oregon State, do it. But if we're playing the realistic game, sorry, man, Arizona State's not a must-have.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, I view Arizona State, and I think your point about Pat Tillman is spot on. No question about that. But in recent memory, the last 2 years, I view them as a problem child. I mean, whether it's Herm Edwards, you look at all the issues, the lack of success. I mean, again, if I'm Brett Yormark, the only thing that I have to avoid here in expansion and in realignment is misstepping in expanding my conference. I can't make a mistake expanding the conference, because if he nails this, if he gets premier brand after premier brand out of the Pac-12 or Pac-10 or Pac-8 or Pac-0, whatever it winds up being, if he can go out and get those value brands, dude, the Big 12 is poised, primed, in a perfect and ideal situation to go out over the next decade and have a bunch of success. And I'm not sitting here saying that success will take them above the SEC and make them number. I'm not saying any of that, because I don't think the Big Ten cares necessarily about beating the SEC. I think the Big 12 cares about beating the SEC. I think the Big 12 cares about just continuing to grow. Just whether if our growth surpasses the Big Ten or the SEC, great. That's awesome. We would love that. But ultimately, all we want to do is go up and to the right. And every year at Media Day, what do we want to do? We want to celebrate the brand. We basically want to have a party. We want it to be ultra positive.
That's right.
That's all he cares about.
That's right.
And if he gets this right, every year for the next 5 years at least, he's going to be in a position to celebrate his conference. And I think that's why this is such a historic time, not just because the PAC's at risk of dying, right? It's not just about that. It's about, hey, who's springboarding forward? Who's the one that's going to get launched? Who's the one that's going to say, hey, because of all those nasty decisions we made and all the hard stuff we did, man, we've gone way farther forward. And that's what I think we can't forget.
Woo!
Damn.
How about that for the first 50 minutes of the show? Okay, let's play the same game we played yesterday.
Yeah.
If we can get to 21,000 subscribers by the end of the show, we'll give away a PlayStation 5.
What are we at right now?
We are at 20,107.
Okay.
There are 2,060 people watching the show.
Incredible.
So if we get to 21,000 subscribers, and I will even say, if we get to 21,000 subscribers in the next hour and 10 minutes, we'll give away a PlayStation, and then we'll give away a $100 gift card to Amazon.
Yeah.
So let's go. If you are here and you are not a subscriber, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Absolutely give us a thumbs up. Let's bribe you with great content.
Let's go.
If you are new to the show, this is the Monty Show presented by our good friends at TryDayTrading.com. TryDayTrading.com. I'm telling you guys, if you didn't make $1,000 at work today, are you one of the people that's being forced to go into the office and it frustrates you? TryDayTrading.com/Monty. For $10, they're going to show you your future. And if your future in the next 12 months is not making $250,000 to $300,000 working for yourself at home on your own schedule, you're not doing it right. TryDayTrading.com. And when you graduate TryDayTrading.com's program, they're going to fund an account for you to become a day trader with their money. And when you make money with TryDayTrading.com's money, they're going to give you 80% of the profit. TryDayTrading.com. Monty. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Immediately, we picked up about 100 subscribers right there, so we're at 20,150.
Appreciate you guys.
850 to go.
I know it sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot with how many people are watching. I mean, it could be done in
1974. I was 1 year old. Let's go.
Let's go. Get it done.
Derek Myrie, get the damn likes up, everyone. I agree. Trent says, gives us $5. Congrats on 20K subs. Monty Show has been best informational source since the initial USC-UCLA PAC betrayal. Great news hounds and BS filter. Thanks. You're welcome. And I appreciate you saying that, Trent.
Thank you.
OG Gary, what's up with you, my guy? Gives us $2 to say GK showed up with an envelope to negotiate with ESPN.
Back to the envelope calculations.
Dude, I still cannot believe he said
It's one of the most iconic quotes out of the PAC.
When he was talking about USC and UCLA, George Kliavkoff, the commissioner of the Pac-12, when he was talking about USC and UCLA leaving, his back-of-the-envelope calculations were that USC and UCLA would lose significant money just on travel cost alone. Never mind that he said no. He's talked to hundreds of USC and UCLA alums and fans and students, and not a single one wanted them to go. So somebody commissioned an official study, and it found out overwhelmingly everybody wanted them to go. The guy's a buffoon. He should be fired already.
Yeah.
John Teal, what's up? He gives us $5 to say, can we get the lady that runs the Mountain West? And while she's at it, let it be known that it's cool to bring Utah, Boise, San Diego State, and Fresno State. Gloria Navarez has been on the show, the commissioner of the Mountain West. Lokeman, $5. Ask real estate sharks. When seller is dissatisfied, you offer less than more. Come on, Georgie Koff. Exactly. A couple of new members to shout out. Tom Osborne.
Let's go, baby.
I don't believe that's the Tom Osborne. That would be difficult for him. Josh War.
Let's go.
Daniel Dixon. What's
Let's
up?
go, baby.
How
Welcome
we doing?
to the showroom.
Good to see you. Big shout out, by the way, to a couple of our dudes. Marlon Shaw, who was here, said had to go. Appreciate you, Marlon. LV Seminole that gave away 5 memberships. Aaron Wilson gave away a membership.
Go.
Thank you.
Stack them up.
Appreciate that. Marlon Shaw gave away 10 memberships.
Yes.
Let's go. Love it. Brandon Butler gave away 10 memberships.
All the memberships, baby.
Let's go.
Wear it out.
Corey Erickson gave away a membership. Let's go. Love you guys.
Love y'all.
Love
Appreciate
you guys.
y'all.
Let's go. 20,170 now.
Let's go.
If we get to 21,000 by 4:30, and let's call it 1 hour and 7 minutes. If we get to 21,000 in an hour and 7 minutes, we'll give away a PlayStation 5.
Yes.
Right here on the show. Drew Christensen gives us $5 to say Utah needs to stop sitting there being fooled with the deluxe and come over and taste the Bacavo.
Let's go.
To see what they've been missing before it's too late. That's a reference to Super Chicks.
Yeah, it's the best, dude. Super Chicks is absolutely outstanding. Riverdale Road in Ogden, Utah. Right, St. George, Utah. Go find them.
Darn right. Expedition Greg gives us $5. Any chances that still place Oregon and Washington to the Big Ten? Yeah, I think so. I think it's shrinking every day that we don't hear something about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I absolutely think, yeah, there's a chance. Ruben Reyes for $5. Utah going down with the Pac-12 ship. How noble. That would be an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. Matt Ritson for $2. See you later, Pac-12. Welcome to the Big 12, Colorado.
Look at this Brett McMurphy tweet. 4 minutes ago. Big 12 will add between 1 and 3 schools to join Colorado in 2024, sources tell Action Network. League will first seek others from the Pac-12 to join. If none do so, Big 12 would add 1 group of 5, UConn, Memphis, San Diego State, or UNLV, to reach even number of teams in 2024.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I have a hard time arguing with that.
I mean, that's what we've been talking about on the show, man.
That's exactly what we've been talking about.
We really try not to be the I told you so show and like all that whole thing, but this is precisely the concept that we have been telling you guys, that it's never just one. If you look at historically with conference realignment and expansion, it's never just one team.
That's right.
There is always a second team, and where there's a second team, there's opportunity at a minimum for a third and a fourth, because obviously even numbers are better than odd. So seeing tweets like this, I mean, it just makes sense. So again, I'm just going to keep saying this. If you're Utah, how are you not getting involved, right? And everyone's been talking about Oregon State being a sleeper. Totally agree with that. Big 12 wants to add a fourth time zone. Totally agree with that. So again, are we talking about Arizona, ASU, Utah, and Oregon State? Or are we instead talking about just Arizona, Oregon State, Washington, and Oregon?
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
That would be incredible. And as we flip through some of these visuals we have for you today, including this statement from Phil DiStefano and Rick George at Colorado, where they say the Big 12's national reach across 3 time zones, as well as our shared creative vision for the future, we feel make it an excellent fit for CU Boulder, our students, faculty, and alumni. I mean, again, I don't know how you argue with that. It is a remarkable coup. It is a historic day in college football today, and it just continues and continues. Man, it's unbelievable. Marlon Shaw gives us $20. Thank you, Marlon. Great job, guys. I can't stay and listen now. I will watch the replay later tonight, but wanted to support your efforts before I go. One quote from the meeting per one regent, quote, "Where we are ending up is the only place we could end up." Exactly right.
It's true.
I think that's exactly right.
Absolutely true.
That's exactly right. Nate gives us $5 to say they just voted. It's unanimous. Corey Erickson for $5. Academic relationships mean squat if you have no schools in your conference to have a relationship with. Absolutely. Absolutely. No question. Kyle Lindbergh for $10. I agree with you that the PAC is likely over, so moot. On San Diego State exit fee, I think a lot of that is posturing on their ability to pay. They built a $310 million stadium and own a valuable 135 acres where the queue was. Yeah, and I agree with you on that. The problem is they have debt load from that stadium.
Yeah.
They do not – schools like San Diego State do not pay cash to build those stadiums. And they are on there is a lot of money in debt load that they have from that. They asked the Mountain West for a payment plan for the $17 million exit fee, to which the Mountain West said no.
And could that be, just to humor the conversation, could it be that that's just them trying to debt service the most savvy way possible? It could be. It could be. And can their donor base come up with that kind of money? Maybe. But I just think why would you want a loan payment program essentially if you could just pay it in cash? Why, right? So to me, if you're San Diego State, a Group of 5 school right now, I don't think you want anything to do with a $34 million exit fee. But ultimately, again, this is why I say with the Big 12 and San Diego State made a big mistake, right? Because now you look like an idiot. You look like you don't know business ops to a high enough level where you would be attractive to your marketing company. That's why I don't know that they're actually all that attractive to Brett.
A little breaking news now, and I'm multiple sources, so I don't want to point one guy in particular, but now it is widely being reported what we told you about 40 minutes ago. Oregon and Washington will meet with the Big 12 tonight,
dude,
to talk about joining the conference. Sources were texting us earlier in the show talking about how the conference was, in fact, going to pursue other membership, as we knew they would. But that Oregon and Washington would be in that conversation. And it appears, and I don't mean to be redundant because I know I said this before, but it appears the Big Ten is not acting here, which is a little surprising because Oregon and Washington are clearly available and clear to be had. If you add Oregon and Washington to the Big 12 for a minimum of the next 5 years, this conference just went to a whole new level.
Yes, it did.
And again, I didn't think this conference could survive without Texas A&M, Missouri, etc. I didn't think it could survive without Oklahoma and Texas. I don't know how it doesn't thrive when you look at BYU, Houston, UCF, Cincinnati, and Colorado, and Oregon, and Washington.
I'm for real.
And then if you go and get a Arizona, a Gonzaga,
Telling you.
I don't know. This is rapid. If this, in fact, comes to fruition, this could arguably be one of the best football conferences in the country, if it's not that already.
Certainly.
If you add Oregon and Washington to the Big 12, they will immediately compete for conference championships. Immediately compete. And again, the school that I will point to, and this is where we're talking about tragedy at this point.
Yep.
If Utah does not get into this expansion, this would be a shocking misstep out of Taylor Randall, the president at Utah.
Agreed.
A shocking misstep out of Mark Harlan, who, by the way, right now, I would remind you, at 3 o'clock Pacific time, 6 o'clock Eastern time, right here on the Monty Show, a call with the Pac-12 presidents is kicking off right now with George Kliavkoff and all the presidents in the conference. I am also told, obviously, that Phil DiStefano and Rick George will not be on that call. The remaining 9 members will be on that call. And the question now is, how does the Pac-12 move on from here? And one of the things that I will find interesting is, will there be questions about who's loyal and who's not? Which hungry dog is going to be unloyal on this call? Because if you're just tuning into the show here, one of the things that I think is so interesting is the how and why Colorado got away from the Pac-12. And what that means for this call that is supposedly getting going right now. Colorado, and you can go back and find it. It's not hard to find. Phil DiStefano said, hey, I am loyal. We are loyal. Colorado is loyal to the Pac-12. We are together. We are unified. We are staying in the conference. I want to say that was early last week. Then Thursday, there was a meeting with George Kliavkoff and all the presidents.
Yeah.
Where George was supposed to update them on the TV deal by presenting numbers and partners. That call consummated. George did not have numbers. He did not even table a potential deal. And he had no path forward to executing and closing a deal. Or closing and executing a deal. And there was significant frustration on that call. Sources close to the situation told me directly that both Rick George and Phil DiStefano were on that call from Colorado. DiStefano is the chancellor. Rick George is the athletic director. Rick is more of a president executive. He has a lot of sway there. Those two were on that call. They voiced frustration, but at no point and no time did they ever say we're out. Nobody hung up. The call concluded. And I am told by sources close to the situation that that's when Rick George and Phil DiStefano said, we're done. This is it. I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And those two went back to the Big 12. And again, I want to make this clear. They had not talked to the Big 12 in a number of weeks at that point. They had committed to the conference, and they had told the conference, we are all united. We are going to give George Kliavkoff and his team time to get a TV deal done. That all stopped. They went right back, communicated with the Big 12, and that's when all of this happened. And at no point between that Thursday call, I am told this morning, at no point has Phil DiStefano or Rick George spoken to anyone in the Pac-12.
Damn.
Nobody. So nobody knew they were doing this. It was a total surprise when it broke yesterday. That's how bad things are in this conference. Now, this report from Brett McMurphy of the Action Network, 1 to 3 more schools will join Colorado in 2024. That's a year from now. And actually less than a year from now.
Right.
That'll be July 1st of next year.
Yeah.
That's when this all kicks off.
Yeah. I mean, I again, if you're a P5 right now and you're one of those schools that's been on the fence looking at, getting to a new opportunity, the door's open, right? There's 3 more slots. And again, I don't want to piss off, other folks on the show right now, SEC fan or ACC fan or even Big Ten fan. But the Big 12 for some of these schools is a a safe haven. It is a new opportunity, brighter horizons,
It
everything
is
you want to say.
Very straight line between where they are now and a national championship in college football.
Yes.
If you are Oregon, Washington, or Utah, it is a straight line to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that there's not some undulations and some difficulty. But a year from now, when Texas and Oklahoma leave this league's wide open. And you would expect that if Oregon and Washington join this conference 1 year from now, Dan Lanning and his Oregon Ducks would be favored to win this conference. And I have to think Washington, and it better be Utah.
Facts.
Utah is in a very precarious position because we've reported on this show for some months now that Utah has had extensive discussions with the Big 12 and came to the conclusion, hey, right now, we're not him. This is not it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, things have changed now. The question is, has the appetite for Utah from the Big 12 changed?
I want it.
And if it has, this is an absolute tragedy for the University of Utah. That athletic department, no matter what you think of Utah fans, that football team is championship caliber.
Yeah.
Every single year. They're going to have, I think, the best defensive front and arguably the best defense west of Athens, Georgia. That's going to be a really good team. And I think it would be an absolute tragedy. And I don't even know that travesty is too strong of a word. It'd be a travesty if Utah wound up stuck in this conference only to end up back in the Mountain West. I've never thought that was a possibility until last night.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of thing that ends Hall of Fame careers, right? Ends
It
Hall
is.
of Fame careers of a guy like Kyle Whittingham. If I'm
It
Kyle
is.
Whittingham and my school tells me that, hey, yeah, unfortunately we weren't able to get into the Big 12, and our move's going to be the Mountain West, I'm saying I'm done.
Yep.
I'm retiring or I'm moving on.
All right, let's read. You guys have been amazing. Big shout out to Gary Wolf, our newest member on the show. Good to see you. LB Seminole is back in the membership. LB Seminole, appreciate you. I know there's a lot of people that are tipping us. I appreciate every one of you. San Diego State Aztec Glenn for $4.99. What did I say months ago in my Ivan Drago voice about the Pac-12? If it dies, it dies. If it dies, it dies.
Whatever.
It's more mafia. Italian mafia.
Yeah.
Tom Osborne, Washington State to the Big Sky Conference.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Why the Big 12 would have any interest in Washington State?
No idea.
No idea. Carson, are there any reports from the Big Ten? Seems quiet. It is. I talked about that about an hour ago here on the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at Bucked Up Energy, buckedup.com. Make sure you use the promo code Monty to get 20% off at checkout at buckedup.com. We have not heard word one from the Big Ten. Not word one. Kevin, for $4.20, you couldn't give me another nickel to make it $4.25?
Come on.
Cheapskate. I don't want to see you at the bounce house on season tickets. Pac-9, congrats on 2K viewers. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you, man. Maury Alvarez. I owe you, Maury. I missed one for Maury yesterday. When do we get the new back of the envelope for Colorado? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Eagle-eyed Mojo Sullivan gives us $2. Is this more fun than watching games? Well, right now it is.
Yeah, it is.
There's no doubt about that. Cougar Tracks, my guy, what's up? Pac, quote, we're all united, and end quote, until we're not. Exactly.
Congratulations, but that's bullshit.
Not wrong. Midnight Magic Musings. Big 12 is a master level class in succeeding.
Yep.
Brett, and again, for all the Pac-12 supporters that are here, and I know we have a ton of Pac-12 listeners, Brett Yormark beat your ass. He walked into your schoolyard and just punched you in the face, dude, and outmaneuvered George Kliavkoff. And
Don't drop that motherfucker.
If Brett McMurphy's report is true, and considering it's reporting the exact same thing that we told you, I think it's true. It's over. It's over. Because you look at this. If they're really willing to add UConn, I mean, that would be. Of UConn, Memphis, San Diego State, or UNLV, I'd be shocked if it wasn't Gonzaga, because Gonzaga and the Big 12 have flirted with each other for 2 full years now. And I'd be really surprised if that did not get done.
Yeah.
I would be really surprised if that did not get done. By the way, let me update you. I see people asking about the subs. We are at 20,200. We are 800 subs away from giving away a PlayStation on the show. There's 2,000 people watching. If 800 of you would hit the subscribe button, and maybe you are all subscribed, I don't know. But if 800 of you would hit the subscribe button, that would be amazing. We have had over 10,000 views on the show today. We're only at 478 likes. Pick it up. Let's go.
Let's go.
Appreciate that very much. Thank you. At this time on the show, every single day, we drink a buckshot real quick on the show.
And hey, if you're one of the 2,000 people watching, let's get a toast. Toast to Colorado. Toast to Brett
Colorado.
Yormark.
Yeah, pour some out for the Pac-12.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Cheers to Colorado. You can feel it working. It is Buckshot from Bucked Up, buckedup.com. It is 200 milligrams of caffeine, and it gives you long-lasting, clean energy to help you get through your day. If you're like me and you work in an office sometimes, back in the day for me, 2 o'clock hits and you're done because of that carb crash from lunch, pop a Buckshot. You're going to be good to go the rest of the day. Get in the description. Get free six free Buckshots sent right to your front door. Use the promo code Monty20 at buckedup.com. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. We appreciate that. As always, Bucked Up is one of our finest partners. They're just such good entrepreneurs, you guys. So good. Let's see. Jay Russ says Gonzaga has no football. That messes up scheduling, won't happen. It doesn't mess up scheduling.
No, and I think that's a big misconception with Gonzaga's value.
Yeah, I agree. Gonzaga's a basketball powerhouse.
Yeah.
You would love to add him to this conference. David Vinson, Arizona State is irrelevant in sports. Yes, they are. Yeah, they absolutely are.
And I think that's also a really good point in the big picture. So sports are not 100% of the value to a university, right? Like,
yes.
You know, hey, if you're not great in sports, but Stanford, you're number 3 in the world in academics, you have a lot of value that way, right? But also on the other side, when you start talking about shuffling and realignment and getting out of a bad situation for a good one, hey, if you win on the football field specifically, and yeah, it helps if you win on the hardwood, that matters in these kind of circumstances.
Yes, it does. By the way, we're all the way up to 20,225 now.
There we go.
775.
And by the way, I'd like to say yesterday we did give away a $100 Amazon gift card. We are a show of our word. We will give away a PS5 if you get it done.
Yes, you get us to 21,000. We'll give away a PS5 today. Let's see. Steve Barnes for $10 says, nailed the Arizona State brand. It is indeed PT. Somewhere Larry Scott is still trying to find the 4 college football fans in San Francisco. Dude. Larry Scott was just the wrong guy, but George Kliavkoff is worse than Larry Scott. Like, I don't know how you don't fire him for this incompetence. Honest to goodness. Think about it. How do you let that guy keep his job? I have no idea. Country Roads 5150 for $5. Don't forget the Big 12 has $100 million in war chest from the OU Texas exit. ACC buyout help? Nah. This Florida State story today, I don't know how many people saw the Florida State story today. It's being reported that Florida State is trying to break up the ACC and that Florida State would like to get to the SEC or the Big Ten. Is Florida State leaving the ACC to go to the Big 12? That doesn't feel like a fit.
No.
I think they would leave the ACC to go to the SEC. That's what they want. That's what the fit is there. But again, I ask you, has Florida State been consistently relevant for the last decade?
Maybe not consistently relevant, but I think their brand, certainly you can project forward and say, hey, if we added Florida State, they would be better.
As a conference, you would, certainly. Yeah. But that football program's got to get turned around. Yeah. They have to be a national power year in and year out. And right now, already crowned Clemson is dominating the ACC. They have and they will.
Yeah.
Right? And Dabo has done a phenomenal job
in God's name, image, and likeness.
I think North Carolina would like to tell you their players, NC State, that's all well and good, but you're not. You're not. And you can sit here and you can tell us what you've done and you make the money. That's all well and good. You got to win games.
Yeah.
In the SEC and the ACC, it's different. You have to win games. Big 12, Big 10, nobody's gonna be like, well, the landscape in the Big 10. Right now, today, it's Ohio State and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That is just what it is. Right? And the scandal that's breaking at Minnesota with PJ Fleck being a complete jag-off.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Allegedly.
You're a douche.
I mean, having the Fleck Bank and coins to buy free passes when you get caught failing a drug test, allegedly, or skipping class, and the guy, like the bullying, it is, in my opinion, probably as bad as what happened at Northwestern.
Yeah.
That conference has bigger fish to fry. If you're Florida State, you need to win games. You're not, in my opinion, Florida State football right now is not a national power program. You're not going to be able to walk into, if Florida State's in the SEC, do they win the conference?
No.
If they're in the Big Ten, are they better than Ohio State?
No.
You can't say that. They can't win the ACC. You can't say that. And they're clearly on the upslope. There's no question about that. But I'll be honest with you, I'm a little tired of hearing about Florida State's greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly, I'm tired of hearing about it from Florida State.
Again, got to win ball games.
I'm a little tired of hearing about it, to be honest with you. Cool Blue 71, thank you for your Pac-12 coverage, The Monty Show. Hiring and retaining for years Larry Scott and no carriage deal with DirecTV was a disaster.
Yes. Yes, it was.
And it has not improved since he left. It has not. Boss Frog, my guy, what's up? Gives us $20. Pac-12 had multiple opportunities to end the Big 12 2 years ago, and yet here we are with the Big 12 trying to land a knockout punch before the end of the round.
Not trying, they are.
Freaking love the chaos, he says.
And I'm telling you, like, I agree with you guys. This is, and I hate being this guy, but it is a lot of fun to watch. We don't see this stuff too often in college football. It is quite enjoyable, number one. Number two, you have to be a killer, man. You cannot be nice. It's not about being nice.
Right.
It's about getting a job done. And again, Pac-12 presidents versus Big 12 presidents. Big 12 presidents hired Brett Yormark. You hired George Kliavkoff. It's over.
And by all accounts, Big 12 presidents have hired Brett Yormark and gotten out of the way.
Yeah.
And they've done that because he's built relationships. He went on his campus tour. He's continued to communicate. He has built a strong relationship with ESPN and Fox. He has done everything that they have expected. He has, by some description, underpromised and massively over-delivered.
Which is smart.
Which is the exact opposite of what George Kliavkoff and the Pac-12 have done.
$50 million. Third biggest deal in all the land.
It's unbelievable. Joseph Melendez for $20. Thank you, Joseph. You guys have been right on the money since I first started watching you. So on behalf of me and my 39 burner accounts that I subscribe to you to win with, it's been a fun ride. Thanks for the info.
Oh, that's great, dude.
That's amazing. That is awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it,
Joseph. By the way, the update is we're at 20,234.
Nice.
Rapidly growing.
Making progress.
765 to go. Let's go. And hey, like I said, if we do that in the next 40 minutes, guys, there's 2,000 people watching the show.
Yeah, come on.
If we just get 765 of you to subscribe right now, we'll give away, the minute it happens, we'll give away a PlayStation 5. And by the way, when the show ends, I'll give away a $100 Amazon gift card.
Yeah.
And if you want to go to Super Chicks on Riverdale Road in Ogden or in St. George, happy to hook you up there as well. Let's go. You support us, we're gonna support you. No doubt about it. Let's see. Nate Simons for $5. Don't forget the Big 12 had a $100 million war chest. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Jeff Sharp's a new member of the show.
Oh, let me go ahead and pull it out here. Yay!
Excuse me. Welcome to the show. Gary Wolf. Hey, Monty and Jake. Glad to be here. P.S. Welcome back to the Big 12 buffs. Exactly.
Seriously, dude.
Hero 75 for $10 says if the Big 10 doesn't make a move On Washington, Oregon, Stanford, and Cal, then it's a massive error. Totally agree.
Yeah,
There's no exit fee. It's easy.
Well, and everyone was like, "Oh, Tony Petitti said that they're just focused on what's in front of them, right? That they're just focused on SC and UCLA, and that's the conference makeup right now." But I'm not taking Tony at his word.
No.
Not because I think the guy's just a flat out liar. He's the commissioner of the Big Ten. You cannot just roll out here and be honest 100% of the time.
Because what else would he say?
And I think we look at Brett Yormark at Media Day, right? Talking all about how, oh, yeah, no, there's nothing. I believe the nomenclature he used when he answered the question was, there's nothing on the slate right now about expansion. He said something like that, exactly that or very similar to that. And then what do we get? And I'm telling you guys, you cannot take commissioners at their word.
Never.
Because it's not their job to be honest with the media. It's their job to keep their conference going up and to the right.
It's their job to manipulate the media.
Yes.
That's what their job is.
Yes.
If we're being honest, and Brett Yormark, I think, has the problem that people don't understand is Brett Yormark the guy is a robot.
Yeah.
He is a machine.
Yes.
He is, the guy's a Terminator. Being around him, talking to him, he is very rhythmic. He is very prepared.
Facts.
He does not talk off the top of his head ever. It's remarkable. It's remarkable. Big Dog O-Town, what's up, my guy? See, a guy who's been to Super
Shout
Chicks
to
on
Mobamba.
Riverdale Road in Ogden. K-Dub will retire before going back to the Mountain West Conference. Just saying, Utes got to get up off that high horse.
Did I not just say that 10 minutes ago?
You
Don't
did.
know if you were here, man, but I'm concerned about that.
Justin Games for $5. I heard the presidents of Washington and Oregon are meeting with the Big 12 executives tonight to discuss joining the conference. Yes, they are.
Dude, if man, it's already Friday tomorrow. If tomorrow we get an executive session out of these schools, let's say, a private executive session, and then Monday or Tuesday we get a public session, that's bad news for the Pac-12 anyway.
I would agree. Totally agree. LV Seminole says, yeah, I was in the base membership group. I should have upgraded a while ago. Fart sounds, please.
Oh, did he upgrade?
He did.
Oh, okay. DM me, dude. I'll add you. I will add you.
He did. Yeah, for $1.99, you get all your comments read. You get highlighted for $9.99, $10 a month. You get into our members-only Instagram group where everybody chats and talks, and it's a really good group of dudes. By the way, a little breaking news out of the NFL. Jalen Ramsey
Oh, boy.
hurt his knee today. He is going to have knee surgery. He is expected to miss the start of the regular season.
Oh, dear. Oh, my.
His ACL is not torn. Jalen Ramsey is going to miss extensive time for the Dolphins. He is having knee surgery after an injury in practice today.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. That is absolutely a big one. OG Gary says, OU, U of U, Washington, Texas Tech, Baylor, TCU, KU, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, tough conference.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
Stay hard.
You put Oregon, Washington, and Utah in the Big 12, it's the best conference in the country.
Yep.
Bar none. And that includes the three-letter down south Paul Feinbaum conference.
Right.
That every time we say it out loud, we get death threats.
Why we have fine, Mom.
Yeah. Courtney McBride gives us $2. I'm a Utah alum, and I can't stand Ute football. I love Ute football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's nothing like, Rice Eccles in November at night.
Dude, Salt Lake City is a really tough place to win a game.
Yeah.
It is a really tough place to win a game. I know that I espouse the awesomeness of Kyle Whittingham on this show, but if you don't, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I've never understood how people just don't love and respect that guy. And in the state of Utah, you are very lucky to have Kalani at BYU and Kyle at up on the hill in Salt Lake. The guy is just second to none. Stephen Noyce, if the whole Pac-12 implodes, who gets stuck with the Comcast $50 million bill? Lawyer up, everyone. There's no such thing as a lawyer up. The contract for Comcast expires in 11 months. Every member of this conference currently, all 12 members are on the hook for that money.
Yeah, that's getting paid one way or the other.
Yeah, it's not a matter of will it get paid. It gets paid. You have to pay it.
Yeah.
There's just nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Tom Osborne, can you guys give an Atari away instead? I can. I mean, I'll give your mom away if we get to 21,000 subscribers. We're at, look at that. Every time I check it, we're up 10. We're at 20,250.
Okay, there we go.
So now we just have 750 to go.
Let's go.
2,100 people watching the show. Hit subscribe. We'll give away a PlayStation 5 at 21,000. Tom gives us $2 to say Harlan and Randall were in Irving, Texas on Wednesday.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Now, I don't know that means that all of a sudden they're going to the Big 12. I mean, certainly that's a convenient narrative, but what concerns me, and again, Harlan and Randall have never been the out in the media, making waves type leadership, but, I think this is one of those times where I'd love to see them be a bit more aggressive publicly.
I would also remind you, Oregon State had a Board of Regents meeting, a special Board of Regents meeting 2 days ago.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. And now you're starting to see that it's been bubbling. I'm telling you, that phone meeting last Thursday was a disaster for this conference. I believe that's where this conference died. Because, again, our sources that are really well placed said that this was not apocalyptic on the call. That people voiced some frustration and the call ended amicably.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells you that there's apathy and they knew it was over.
Yep.
Because if these hungry dogs were really loyal to the Pac-12, they would not be in the Big 12 conversation right now.
As you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
Was Mark Harlan and Taylor Randall in Irving yesterday? I don't know. We couldn't confirm it. We reached out to our Utah sources. That's why we haven't talked about it.
Because we couldn't confirm it.
Could it be possible? Sure, it could be possible. But it could also be possible that I weigh 200 pounds. And we all know my left foot weighs 200 pounds. That's not really the point here, though. What my point is, it's possible.
Biologics.
Is it likely? I don't know. Did they find dead aliens in those UFOs?
Biologics.
I don't know. I think it's possible. I do. Tom Dean for $5. I've never been in front of 2,000 people. I guess I'd better say something really smart. Will you comb your hair, please? And Tom, you got food. Dude, you got food in your teeth.
Yeah, come on, dude. Can you get a little floss?
Hello. Booty butt face. Thanks for reading this out loud. He gave us $5 for me to say booty butt face. Who am I to say no?
I mean,
Apparently, I am just a paid professional.
That's right.
Well, that makes me sound like a hooker, but that's not really the point.
Yeah.
Let's go. Eagle Eye Mojo Sullivan gives us $1. Thank you. Corey Erickson, how are you? Terrible time to be packing for a 2-week Africa trip. My man.
Hey, YouTube's a global brand, brother.
There's never a bad time to go to Africa.
Yeah.
Never. By the way, did you see the woman and her husband that were in the safari park with lions doing a drive-through safari? They had a fight in the car. The woman got out of the car, walked around to the driver's side to yell at her husband. A lion took her away off in the brush.
This is a tasty burger.
I'm going to say the husband. I'm going to say the husband won the argument. Shooter Texas. I think my quote-unquote hunting license comment should be worth an Amazon card, right? LOL. Seriously, hearing smoke about UW and Oregon to the Big 12 2-3 weeks away. Well, we'll find out. We will find out.
Yeah.
Because as we have talked about on the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at Bucked Up Energy this hour, I have been telling you time and again, Big 12 officially adds Colorado to the conference in 2024. Our sources have been telling us that Oregon and Washington will in fact meet with the Big 12. We were told this tonight or tomorrow. Now many sources are reporting it is tonight.
Yeah.
Oregon and Washington are supposedly having conversations. The source who gave it to me was pretty rock solid, so I have a hard time believing that it's not happening. And it is a little surprising. It is a little surprising that the Big Ten is not acting. It is a little surprising, unless they are totally covert and under the radar, it is a little surprising that the Big Ten is not acting. At least for me. I thought that we would hear that the Big Ten was going to get aggressive, and we have not heard that.
Yeah.
We have not heard that. That to me is a little surprising.
I agree.
A lot surprising. Geoff gives us $5 to say just the tip. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. And some people are DMing me saying I missed their comments.
Dude, you're missing comments, bro. It's not like we have 500, pipped comments here.
Do you guys know how many comments we have right now? We have thousands and thousands and thousands of comments. So I apologize if I miss them. Okay, because it's the 6-month anniversary of Jaron Eccles.
Okay.
Who says, you guys won't see it, but Jaron Eccles says, I remember when we used to get excited when we get 100 likes on a live show. We've come a long way, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, dude. Growth is happening.
It really has been amazing. You guys, we if you're new to the show, this has been a ride, dude. This has been a crazy growth spurt for us, and we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for that. Rhett Jet Painter gives us $2. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Welcome to the show. We appreciate that. Let me read some of let me get some of our casuals, just the dirty public.
Yeah, you guys are casuals.
Dale Donut says, imagine being Wazoo in Oregon State right now. Yeah, dude, it's a scary place to be.
It is.
David Welker, Florida State and Utah have the same PR group, except Utah has Jake and Monty. Well, could absolutely be true.
Yeah.
But tell me I'm wrong. If you look at Utah sports, the glaring weakness at Utah is men's basketball.
Yes.
It has been a blight for...
Ladies basketball has been hot. Been firing on all cylinders.
One of the best teams in the country. But you look at their commitment to women's sports, you look at their commitment to football, skiing, like all across the board.
Yeah. And
Utah's a phenomenal earner. They're a research institution. They're AAU. Like, there's nothing not to like.
They're
about
a total
them.
package as far as realignment and expansion are concerned. There's no reason why you wouldn't want to add them.
Absolutely. Don Street says, I'd take Utah over Colorado any day. I think everybody would.
Yeah.
Tony Steele, the members of the PAC who can't get a deal, and the Mountain West merge, forming the Broke PAC Mountain Conference.
Yeah, and I don't know that.
Broke PAC Mountain.
You see what he did there? It's like Brokeback Mountain. It's Broke PAC Mountain. You see that? That's a really double entendre type deal there. But anyway, the point is that I don't think that Utah can go to the Mountain West, like, legitimately.
You can't do that.
I just don't think you
cannot take
can.
that step back.
No.
You just can't do it. You cannot take that step back in any way, shape, or form. If you're watching the show, please make sure you give us a thumbs up and a like as we tell you about breaking news right here on the show. Colorado has officially become a member of the Big 12 starting July 1st, 2024, and it's a doozy. In a Board of Regents call, a video call, it was 9-0, a unanimous vote by the Board of Regents at Colorado to join the Big 12, who almost immediately released a statement this afternoon welcoming Colorado back to the conference, and they only used 2 words. They're back. That's the entire statement right there as you see it in front of you, the official copy, which came to my email, and I say that's exactly the right way to handle it. Now, multiple sources have told us this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
What is next? Well, it sounds like Oregon and Washington could be next, because Oregon and Washington, as we told you on the show, are scheduled to meet with the Big 12 tonight on a call. Individually, not as a group. They will meet individually with the Big 12. Brett McMurphy from the Action Network tweeted, Big 12 will add between 1 and 3 schools to join Colorado in 2024. League will first seek others from the Pac-12 to join. If none do, the Big 12 would add 1 group of 5 school to reach even numbers of teams in 2024. I mean, this is just an amazing turn of events.
Yeah.
An amazing turn of events that I don't know how you quite describe this as I leave Brett McMurphy covering my beautiful face. I apologize for keeping myself from you. But I don't know how you quite describe the events of the last week. I mean, I wonder if that Thursday call played a role in the flub, the major mistake that George Kliavkoff made it at Pac-12 Football Media Day, where he talked about how he was on purpose not announcing a TV deal. And, I wonder if he was nervous or feeling pressure to perform. because of the outcome of that Thursday call. Now, Jake, I think that's a perfectly reasonable conclusion, because now you understand from our reporting that that meeting is exactly what triggered Colorado to act.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear what George said then. It was just a massive mistake.
I don't want the opportunity to be missed today to talk about football. We're not announcing a media deal on purpose today because I want the focus to be on football.
George, just to follow on what you just said, I think a response ago, because it caught a lot of people's attention very quickly. You just said you're not announcing a deal today on purpose because you want the attention to be on football.
Yep.
To be clear, that would imply that the deal is done and codified and just you're waiting until after today.
I think you're reading too much into that.
So then what is the purpose behind not announcing something, which is what you just said?
We want to have the focus on football today. We have an incredibly good football story to tell, and we want that to be the focus today.
Wow. James Crapia, the only one with the cojones to go after George Kliavkoff there. And I think George absolutely folded like a cheap suit. And I think it is remarkable that when we sit here and we discuss this stuff, and I just can't imagine. Have we ever seen something with so much can't miss potential completely crash and burn? I don't remember it. You look at the Pac-12. 12 years ago, it was a can't miss league. And through mismanagement and poor oversight, bad decision-making, bad financials, pure incompetence.
Yeah.
This league is now on death's doorstep. And if the Big 12 truly adds one more team, it's over. It's over. If they simply take Arizona, it's over. If they take Arizona, Oregon, and Washington, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
And it's just now, in my opinion, based on what we're hearing, I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's really important when things like this happen to kind of, take our big, red Sharpie and kind of define this moment, right? Like, this is historic. This is unprecedented. I don't think that we've seen, obviously, realignment and, two team, groups going to this conference or that one, right? But we've never been in a position, as A, media members, but B, college football fans, where we're looking at conferences dying. I mean, this whole concept of, two super conferences in 25, 30 years and like all that felt like nonsense. But when things like this start to happen, it really brings it into focus that bad business ops and running your conference like garbage has a price to pay. And I know that seems kind of obvious, right? But I don't think we've really seen the consequences of bad management come to fruition until this Pac-12 situation. And if the Pac-12 dies, and no matter which side of the line you're on, whether you're pro-Pac, anti-Pac, whoever you are, this will forever change college football. Forever change college football.
The way business is done, you have to be ruthless. And to your credit, you've been saying that. You have to be ruthless.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah. Country Road says Big 12 to the Big 10, quote, mind if we dance with your dates?
You weren't expecting this one.
End quote, table removed. Tell me you know where that's from.
No, I don't.
The Blues Brothers.
Well.
Country Roads, nice job. Our Web, $5. A thought, cheaper for Fox to put Oregon and Washington in the Big 12 than the Big 10? Well, I mean, it wouldn't be Fox that would have to pay in the Big 12. And it wouldn't be Fox who would pay in the Big 10 either, because Fox owns Big Noon Kickoff in the Big 10. And as we've talked about previously, our sources in the TV industry told us that CBS and NBC, who would carry most of those late window kickoffs with Oregon and Washington, let's say, have agreed to pay to add those two schools, and really to add Stanford and Cal, those four schools. In the Big 12, ESPN. But I was also told that Fox and ESPN are in lockstep on this, that they would both add their equal share to add Power 5 teams. I mean,
and that makes sense, right? Because you want, if you're ESPN and Fox, yeah, sure, on its face, yeah, they're competitors, of course. But ultimately, what's good for the other network in this situation is best for each other, basically. So,
yes.
if they can both thrive in multiple conference setups, why wouldn't they do that? I mean, again, everyone while this whole college football thing has been happening, everyone's like, oh, ESPN's dying and they're selling shares and all this nonsense. To which I say, no, ESPN's not dying. ESPN is changing its business model and they're trying to liquefy a little bit so they can operate a little bit better. And so if they can go to Fox and say, hey, we've got these schools that are trying to get into the Big 12 and the Big 10, let's say. How do we want to structure this? What's best for both of us? Because ultimately, if they're both making a ton of money, they're both, that's what's best for everybody. So why wouldn't they?
I would agree with that. Interesting, though, like when you look at, and Donuts gives us $5 for the golf fund.
Well, I appreciate
that. The networks
dude.
starve the pack. Dogs got to eat. Yes, they do. And I don't disagree with you. I think the networks did. OG Gary makes an interesting point. Petiti, the commissioner of the Big Ten, said he won't add anyone until they figure out the logistics and the biologics with SC and UCLA. He may let everyone bounce to the 12, then Big 10, 12. I think, but again, I think Tony Petiti said exactly what you would expect a TV executive to say, which he is. Oh, we're focused on the members that we have. Tony Petiti was asked about this, and he said, well, my edict is focus on the membership you have.
Don't lie to me.
Okay. I don't believe that for a second. Big Jack 512, $2. Big Jack, good to see you. George discovered his, quote, special purpose. Yeah, to destroy this conference.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it?
Robert Anderson, does the Mountain West benefit from adding schools like Washington State? Oh, certainly, I think it does. The question is, does Washington State continue athletics if they go to the Mountain West?
And if you had asked that question even a year ago, that'd be like a ridiculous question to ask. But now it's on point.
You're making $4 million. And if you're Washington State, can you survive athletically on a $4 million TV deal?
No.
Now, you go back. Certainly the Mountain West can't add anybody without going back to CBS.
Yeah.
And their TV partners and saying, hey, we're adding Washington State, But does Washington State win the Mountain West championship? Don't think so. But maybe their expectations are lower, so they spend less in athletics. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
I think Washington State's in a terrible position.
I think that's the definition of uncharted water.
I would agree
Something
with
we've
that.
never seen before.
I would agree with that. Let's see. San Diego State Glenn says, I remember when you guys hit 10K subscribers, I said on Instagram, don't forget us little people. You haven't. Congrats on your success. Oh, no.
Yeah, I appreciate you, dude.
Glenn, we forgot you because, you're a San Diego State fan. It had nothing to do with our success.
Hey, we didn't forget you. George Kliavkoff in the PAC forgot you, dude.
Yeah, did Adela send you a fundraising letter to get you out of the court?
Damn.
No, I'll stop. AJM for $2. Do conference champs get auto bids into the playoffs? That's a big question because I don't think the PAC will keep that status.
I think after realignment, I think when realignment is done and the dust settles, the College Football Playoff Committee needs to put structure around qualifications. There needs to be an understanding of, okay, how many teams does your conference need to have for your conference champion to auto bid into the playoff? Because if the PAC continues at 8 teams, let's say.
PAC 8.
Yeah, PAC 8, Jetfish. I don't think that should be an auto bid. That's not good enough, right? That's way too short of all the other conferences.
Yeah.
So I think there's got to be structure there.
Yep. Big Bad Brass Balls for $2. Do you remember when Utah discovered cold fusion? Yeah, like what, 1990, 1985? Something like that. I remember that. Yeah. They made, quite literally, 2 guys at the University of Utah discovered cold fusion.
Nice.
Yeah. K-Stater and ABQ gives us $5. Appreciate you. What's up in the Albuquerque? Eagle Eye gives us $2 to say, Monty, say Southern Miss to the top. There you go. Southern Miss to the top.
There you go.
USF to the top. Gary Wolf for $5. Pac-12 demise like watching the Hindenburg burn. Oh, the humanity. It's terrible.
The pride, bro.
There's just
the
no
arrogance.
And it didn't have to happen.
No, it didn't.
It didn't have to happen. Dabo Sweeney's 805 winning percentage gives us $2.
Built this program on NIL.
Utah would be the Clemson of the Mountain West.
Absolutely.
Already crowned Utah.
Yeah.
You know, that would be amazing. That would be amazing if that. They're
no
not,
doubt,
they're
bro.
Not. They're not.
Where are we at on sub count?
I've not looked in a while. If we get to, we have 15 minutes, and we are at, guys, we're only at 268.
That's not happening, dude. See,
an hour, we have an hour and 15 minutes to get 732 subscribers.
Again.
If we get 732 subscribers in an hour and 15 minutes, we will give away a PlayStation 5 on this show. Right now, today.
Yeah.
We will. Now, you're about 14 minutes away from losing a $100 Amazon gift card to go with that. 2,000 people watching the show. Everybody, if you haven't, we only have 700 likes. Please, everybody who has not, please hit the like button. Let's at least get to 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
Get to 1,000 likes, I probably won't give you anything. you know.
Better send those refunds.
Yeah, let's go. Eagle Eye. Will there now be a P4 and a G6? Could be. You can't tell me that the Pac-12 keeps its Power 5 rank.
Again, another thing we've never seen in college football.
Never seen it.
How does that work? Is it just the NCAA coming out and saying, hey, they're no longer a P5 conference? You know what I mean? Like we really just haven't seen anything like this before.
Oh, damn, Maxwell gave us $2 to correct me. I said Blues Brothers. It was Animal House.
Okay.
It was Animal House was such a good movie. I've probably seen that movie literally 1,000 times.
You're casual.
I love that movie. I do. Kaufman, how are you? $5. I think you guys should give away season tickets to a Pac-12 school for 24-25 season when you hit 21K. Okay, well, what you think doesn't matter. So, no, I'm kidding.
He's a bum.
It's not cheap.
That's bread, dude.
It's like a $5,000 bill.
Yeah,
right
we
there.
can discuss that at 40, 50,000 subs. How about that?
Country Roads corrected me, not Blues Brothers. I'm disappointed. I'm a terrible person.
Yeah.
I should
Sorry if you're offended by that.
probably wake up with a horse in my bed. I should. Gorf Denro gives us $10. If the Big 12 adds Oregon, Washington, and Arizona, it will be in 12 states. The Big 12 states. Great marketing. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
that would be phenomenal.
Yes.
I mean, it's a flex. They're the best conference in college football if that happens.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Then you control college basketball and college football.
And the only question is, how do you go about beating the big boys in the SEC? That's it. Because again, if you're all four time zones, your business is going great, and you're winning national championships, I mean, we got to have a real discussion about the reordering of conferences.
Dude, seriously,
at that point.
It is. I think we have to have a real discussion about why you guys haven't ordered your Papa Murphy's Pizza Calzones yet. I think that's
Seriously,
the real
come on.
discussion that we have to have. Use the promo code Monty25 to get your awesome, amazing Papa Murphy's Calzones.
At Papa Murphy's, we do more than just pizza. We do calzones.
Papa Murphy's does calzones?
Oh, I think you mean I do the calzones.
And how do you do it, Dad?
How do I do it? How do I do it?
Well, we do it with fresh ingredients and hand-shredded cheese tucked in a scratch-made dough.
That's how, honey.
At Papa Murphy's, we make great pizza.
Hey, don't forget the calzones.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
Papa Murphy's Pizza, the official pizza of the Monty Show. Use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase of $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Calzones, marinara meatballs, pour them on top of each other, sex. Okay, there you go. Done. Done, bro. Done. I'm telling you, man. You put the marinara meatballs combined. Oh, dude, it's amazing. Hey, new member to start.
Oh, let me pull it out here.
Hello. Thank you. Anthony Rast, our newest
Anthony.
member on the show.
Appreciate you, bro. Welcome.
Let's go. Appreciate you guys joining the show. Eric gives us $2 to say Miami, Notre Dame. AAU membership means future Big Ten. I I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan. If you don't know, I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
Which pretty much makes me a stud.
Right.
My fathered children in just
Here's
one
the deal.
state.
I'm the best there is.
Yeah, like I said, I have fathered children in just one state.
I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
I mean, who's never done that? And my point is, listen, Notre Dame will join the Big Ten when it is financially necessary for them to do that. I've heard that they are within the month potentially going to close on a $75 million deal to extend their contract with NBC.
I'm for real.
If NBC winds up with, essentially Big Ten After Dark
Yeah.
to wrap around Notre Dame football, why would Notre Dame join a conference? NBC already has a piece of the Big Ten, and they have Notre Dame football, which is what they're trying to gravitate to, and they're going to have the NBA, and they have the NFL. Why would Notre Dame, there's no financial, Notre Dame's going to make more money as an independent in football than they are joining the Big Ten.
Yep.
Because it's $75 million, they're making at least twice that in marketing, right? Because NBC and Notre Dame also have several provisions in their contract that gives Notre Dame commercial time in the broadcast. Notre Dame already controls the announcers. Notre Dame already controls the kickoff times. Like, why would you join a conference to be dictated to?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Oh, by the way, they also have access to the college football playoff. Why would you? And listen, as a frustrated Notre Dame fan, I would love to see them join the Big Ten because we're never going to win anything with our crappy coaching hires. I was so excited when Brian Kelly took his fake-ass Southern accent to LSU.
He's a bum.
And then it did absolutely nothing for us.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy Reese.
Neat.
All right, Drew Pine, good luck at ASU. Jerk. Dabo's 805 winning percentage. American and Mountain West do fist pumps seeing the Pac-12 fail. Everybody is, unfortunately. Yeah. Holy cow. Ooh. Man, I didn't know ghosts were real.
Wait, was there a shift in the force?
Let me bring back a guy who showered in our T-shirt on the show. Let me bring back a guy who has an amazing child. Let me bring back a guy who we thought certainly would be dead because why else wouldn't he be watching the Monty Show like everybody else on the planet? Justin Salas.
Bruh.
Who has the nerve. The nerve to come in here and tip us $5 to grandstand and make his triumphant return to the Monty Show.
Okay.
Justin, you son of a biscuit. Dude, where have you been?
Yeah, for real.
Good to see you, my guy. Good to see you. I remember when we were trying to get to 100 likes. I go away for a few months, and now you're shooting for 1,000 likes. Congrats, my dudes. We are shooting for 1,000 likes. You guys are slacking. We're at 796. We've got an hour and 7 minutes to go. Let's get to at least 1,000. I'll give something away. I'm not giving a PlayStation away at 1,000 likes. My mom can give me 1,000 likes, right?
Yeah, I mean,
she can count liver spots, and each one of those is worth a like. Like, come on, let's be better. Let's be. You're slacking.
Look at the likes jumping up now.
Let's not Kleovkov the like button. Yeah, just go and crush it.
No back of the envelope likes.
Yeah,
okay?
There's just no reason to
back of the envelope calculations.
slacking like this. Justin Salas, you are
Appreciate
a stud. Dude. It is so good to see you, bro. Let's see. Conference Commissioner Gumby says, give Jake away at 1,000 likes.
Boom. Out of here.
There's a few people on the show that would like to consume Jake.
You're filling in for somebody.
I think his girlfriend. And Jake's, by the way, he's a back to front guy.
Hiscock.
So he's single, and as a back to front guy, he's also a virgin.
Waves in opposition.
I'm just putting it out there like Jake puts it out there. Tom says, a PlayStation to the Instagram fans, love it. Well, you got to get to 1,000. You got to add 1,000 subs first, and we only added 297. Hey,
there we go.
700 to go, guys. Let's go.
Chopping it down.
Tom Osborne says Atari. Sir Robin says I've got a like coming soon.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Tinfoil Man says 840 likes.
Let's go.
Ron Loney says Utah wants to be independent, the old BYU model.
Ah.
See what he did there? The old BYU model. It's crazy that a year ago people thought the Big 12 was going to get dismantled. Tony Altimore is pissing his pants right now. LOL, love the show, guys.
Yeah, there are several hater Twitter accounts that I've
there are.
not acknowledged with a troll job because we're better than that. You know what?
We're actually not.
As George Kliavkoff said, we're taking the high road. That's why we're not talking about it.
I didn't know you smoked weed.
Well,
taking the high road, apparently. Yeah, I don't know how the radio wizard in the Great Northwest is still here with his sources tell me that SMU is going to pay a $70 million entry fee to come in and take care of the Comcast debt. He reported that. $70 million from SMU.
Come on, dude.
Well, they have the biggest collective. They'll come in and dominate the league. Then why haven't they won the AAC? Hello?
Is this thing on, dude? Are we still here?
Like, it's amazing what the mouthpieces in this league have done. It's amazing the shift. And I love John Wilner at the San Jose Mercury News. But that dude allowed George Kliavkoff to come on his podcast and do a hit job on UCLA.
Yep.
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And it is embarrassing.
Yeah.
John Famlor. How does this not destroy Oregon and Washington's value if they're joining the Big 12? Does not get the entire conference more money? Well, I don't know that I would agree. If Oregon and Washington join the Big 12, they're going to compete at the top of the Big 12. I mean, you can just write that down.
Yeah.
I think if Oregon was in the Big 12 this year, they would give Texas a run for their money. If Utah was in the Big 12, they would give Texas a run for their money.
Absolutely.
Does that mean they're better than Texas or more talented? They're not more talented. Nobody is. But Sark is their head coach, right? In my opinion, Oregon and Washington make everybody in the Big 12 more money.
Yep.
The question is how much money is being left on the table by Oregon and Washington not going to the Big 10, if that's at all a possibility, instead of going to the Big 12. It's a huge question mark. Huge ask. Huge ask. And I think there is a lot to bandy about with that because we started the show by telling you our sources had told us that the Arizona Board of Regents, which manages Arizona State and Arizona collectively, has been put on ready or standby to have a meeting early next week. And that tells you that Arizona is talking already.
Right.
There are, by some reports, Board of Regents meetings and calls happening already. Last night, Arizona's Board of Regents had a leadership call with Arizona and Arizona State. I think both are exploring their options. Arizona State is one of the most loyal members in this conference to George Kliavkoff, as they were with Larry Scott. Arizona's not. And Arizona President Bobby Robbins is on the board of directors in the Pac-12. And what's happening again with USC? Collapsed. Carol Folt, their president, was on the board of directors. And now Arizona is going to leave as well, in my opinion, with their president on the Pac-12 board of directors. Poor leadership. Poor leadership. Not only did you see USC and UCLA walk out the door under George Kliavkoff, but you're watching Colorado, probably Arizona, and maybe Oregon and Washington walk out the door right with him under George Kliavkoff.
Yeah.
Has he been fired? No. Muscled? Yes. Fired? No. The presidents in this conference bear responsibility alongside George Kliavkoff, and I don't know that there's another way to even spell that out.
No, I mean, I think that's about as good as you can say it. I mean, there's no other way around it. Like, again, the presidents in the Pac-12 have been outmaneuvered, and, you know, that's just is what it is. And that's why I keep saying, like, dude, the Big 12 deserves credit for hey, we out-businessed you. Like, it just is what it is. We hired a better commissioner. We got the hell out of the way. Like, that's just the way business is done. So for me, I look at the situation and I just say, like, hey, you're not in a strong position because you ultimately made bad decisions. And the bad decisions were that we're going to keep George Kliavkoff. We're not going to get a good TV deal done. And then when we realized, hey, properties like ESPN, CBS, Fox are not going to invest, $50 million a year per school in our conference. we're going to go ahead and flip the bird to folks at Amazon and Apple. Because you guys remember, right? You remember what Amazon initially offered to the Pac-12. Hey, a couple games a week. We will take 3 or 4 Pac-12 games a week. And there was even an idea. I remember back in December, January, around that time, there was a concept floated by Amazon at one point that had all of the Pac-12 games on Amazon, and then that would allow the Pac-12 to work with ESPN or work with Fox, a major linear player, to have a game of the week or their tier 1 best game of the week on one of those platforms. And the Pac-12 said, no, we're not interested in that. So when I look at this whole situation, what is this situation? Why are we here? We're here because the presidents in the Pac-12, going back 10 years, on our channel after the show, you can go digging. We had an interview with Larry Scott 5 years ago to this day where he said, hey, we're not doing a deal with DirecTV, or we're going to get a deal done with DirecTV, but, you know, that never came to fruition. So whether it's Larry Scott, George Kliavkoff, TV deals, streaming versus linear, you know, additions to the conference, the San Diego State embarrassment, I can go on and do an entire ledger of dumbass things this conference has done that's put them here. And I don't mean to sound so negative about it, but that's ultimately why we're here.
But is it negativity or is it truth?
Well, it is the truth, but I think it comes off as being really negative, and I'm really cognizant of not just like hating on the Pac-12 constantly.
Yeah,
I don't want to hatchet people, but ultimately everyone's like, oh, like how is this even possible? Well, this is why it's possible, because you made bad decision after bad decision.
Yep. Hour number 3 of the Monty Show, presented by our friends at BladeHQ.com. BladeHQ.com. The best knives from the best knife makers at BladeHQ.com, where they've got over 15,000 knives in stock right now, ready to ship. It's an easy shopping experience. The worst thing in the world, and I'm going through this with Amazon right now, and this is what frustrates me about Amazon. It's hard to order from them. It's hard to return stuff sometimes. Like, it's a battle with the vendor, not at BladeHQ.com, because they built their own platform from the ground up. All the software, the algorithms, the execution, the visuals, it's all BladeHQ.com. It's quick, it moves, it's easy. They value you, each and every customer of BladeHQ.com. They love y'all. So whether you need a daily carry, you need a baton, you need clothing, are you an outdoorsman, a hunter? They've got a blade for you, but they've also got clothing. They've got lanterns, flashlights, batons, knives of all kinds. BladeHQ.com. Make sure you tell me you heard about it on the Monty Show. Let's run down all the breaking news out of the Big 12 today. If you are just tuning in, it is over. Colorado, the Board of Regents has voted unanimously to leave the Pac-12. On top of that decision, not 5 minutes later, the Big 12 officially adds Colorado, and they issued a statement that was very much reminiscent of Michael Jordan's I'm Back.
Yeah.
Where Brett Yormark, regarding the University of Colorado, quote, they're back. And I think it is exactly who Brett Yormark is. Short, sweet, and to the point. Thorough, methodical businessman. That's who Brett Yormark is.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
And the question that has to be asked today is, why did Colorado leave the Pac-12? And how did that happen? And I can tell you very pointedly, I was told that last Thursday, the day before Pac-12 Football Media Day, there was a call where George Kliavkoff was tasked with presenting the very latest update on the Pac-12's new upcoming sort of imminent media rights deal.
Yeah.
Where he had promised or assured members he would present numbers and options. And my sources say he did none of that. And when he could not come up with a number and he could not present options, nor could he present a path forward to closing and executing a media rights deal, frustration ensued. I'm told there was no yelling or what have you, but there was clear frustration demonstrated. Several of the presidents and athletic directors on that call pressed Kliavkoff about how they would make progress and move forward together. The call ended amicably. My sources in the conference and in the TV industry tell me that's where Colorado got off the ship. They did not tell anybody on that call that they were leaving the conference. They simply got off the call and as a group, as a staff, decided this is where we move in a different direction. They had had enough. with the frustration. Everybody in this conference has expressed to sources that we talk to on a regular basis that the instability weighs on them, because you have situations where Arizona State is going through an incredible financial burden with their football program, and basketball is having to restock their roster every single year. On top of that, the football team is going through sanctions through Herm Edwards and his staff's recruiting meltdown. You have Washington State that is in a financial shortfall where the athletic director and the athletic staff is facing a staff revolt against Kirk Schultz, the president at Washington State. Allegedly several weeks ago, the staff threatened to hold a sit-in where they would no longer work until budgets were frozen and audited. We reported that, and then less than 4 hours later, Kirk Schultz issued a statement where he said there is a spending and hiring freeze, and we are going to audit our athletic budget. You have those situations in this conference, and now you get Colorado leaving, and you have to ask yourself, what happens with Oregon and Washington, who are staring down the barrel at being in a 9-team conference with no clear path to the college football playoff? And I would say the same thing for Arizona, Arizona State, for Utah certainly. Where do those universities go for athletics when they are looking at a very real possibility that the Pac-12 is going to melt down and they are going to wind up in the Mountain West or another G5 conference? How do you not talk to the Big 12, which our sources told us right before the show started that Washington and Oregon would have a call tonight or tomorrow, and now further reporting in I guess the college football world is the right way to say it. Other reporters, including Ross Dellinger at Sports Illustrated, have said that the call is tonight with the Big 12, with Oregon, and then with Washington. So the wheels of change are coming. And I think the biggest question here is, can you, if you are the Pac-12, Jake, survive this? Can you stay together?
Yeah, I have doubts about that. My opinion is no, because I think ultimately what happens here is you're going to see Arizona go to the Big 12. That's my opinion. I think you see Arizona go to the Big 12.
I would agree.
And I think, as far as the Big 10, they're awfully quiet. So that means one of two things, obviously, right? They're operating behind the scenes and going real low-key with it, or they're simply not getting involved on this wave of expansion. That's a very real possibility. So in scenario one, the Big Ten's not involved. That tells me that Oregon and Washington, who have been aggressive in realignment and getting to a different conference for the last, I would say, 6 months, I would have them as the third and fourth team going to the Big 12 to join Colorado, right? Because, again, if you look at Brett McMurphy's tweet, what's he been tweeting? Hey, there's going to be 3 more teams that join Colorado for the 24-25 season, less than a year from now, right? July 1, 2024, there will be 3 more teams that join Colorado. So if the Big Ten's not involved, I would say odds are you're going to see Arizona, Washington, and Oregon go to the Big 12. That, to me, makes a lot of logical sense.
And if you're Utah, what do you do? If you are Utah, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point, if you're Utah, the play is getting into the Big Ten. I mean, that's what you have to try to do.
I don't know that there is a future to secure if you do not have this deal. I really don't. And we are waiting for an update. An hour ago at 3 Pacific, so I guess that is, 2 hours ago, at 3 Pacific, a call with all of the Pac-12 presidents and athletic directors was said to be starting, where there was going to be an exchange of ideas. I was told that there was going to be a period where people could vent if they wanted to vent, and there was going to be a discussion about what direction and what the path forward would look like. And George Kliavkoff was set to talk about Colorado. We have not seen word on that. And I am just waiting to see how all that plays out. And you start looking at all of the rumors and all the mongering that's going on. It is really, dude, it's pretty incredible. And, I'm waiting to confirm, but now Ross Dellinger is tweeting about it. There is also some belief that the Big 12 went back to the Four Corners schools and said August 1st is the drop dead date. You're either going to join the conference by then or we're going to move on. And I go back to this idea as you guys hit the like button, because we are only 95 likes away. There's 1,900 people watching the show. We just need 90 likes now.
Yeah.
Please hit the like button. I go back to this idea that the timing of that call last Thursday could not have been worse. Could not have been worse. Because if schools had been given an August 1st drop dead date, and the working theory, and I've not been able to confirm this, so I want to make that very clear. I've heard this from one television industry source. I have not confirmed this through multiple people. But I was told that they got that notice last week, very early last week, right after Big 12 football media days.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is the case, the timing of that meeting and then the horrendous performance at Pac-12 football media day, I don't know that there could have been a better, more clear argument that destiny plays out right in front of your face.
Yeah.
Because that was, there's no doubt in my mind, from the people I've spoken to, that call last Thursday was the end of the road for George Kliavkoff. His Pac-12, that at that point was Pac-10, that is now Pac-9.
Yeah.
I think there is a very real opportunity that it's Pac-6 and then it's Pac-9.
Pac-10.
Because if it's Pac-6, it's over.
Yeah, you don't have a conference at that point.
You don't have a conference at that point. And I don't know how, if you are Utah, and again, Utah has been very quiet. There has been a tight lid put on the communications at Utah. Because usually we have no problem getting communications with people at Utah. We have not gotten word one from them about their plan here, which makes me believe that they are working behind the scenes. Because you can't just sit here now and wait for the rest of this to melt down.
No.
You can, I mean, the wave of radioactive material is coming, and you're looking at it coming. And you've got to get out of here or it's going to kill you. Because I think there is a very real chance that the teams who do not get out of this conference now will wind up in the Mountain West.
Yeah, you don't have a home at that point. Respectfully to the Mountain
You
West,
don't.
because it's a wonderful conference for the group of five. You don't have a Power 5 team has no business being in that conference. And sure, you can make a case that Washington State's not a Power 5 team. Okay, I'm here for that. Totally cool with that. But again, programs like Oregon State, programs like Utah have no business being in the Mountain West.
I would agree.
Those teams are, to me, clear, defined Power 5 programs that need to find a way. And if I'm Oregon State, and again, Utah's in this conversation, but if I'm Oregon State, I am sweating. I am saying, dude, we have a 10-win football program. We've got debt load for the renovation of Reeser, and we need to find a new home. We have to find a new home because a $4 million a year payment on a TV contract is not going to get it done, with all due respect to the Mountain West.
And they have a phenomenal athletic director in Scott Barnes. A newer president. It's going to be very interesting to see where they end up. I mean, based on what we learned today, I have to believe that Oregon, Washington, if they're talking to the Big 12, there's a real chance they're going to go there.
Yeah.
And if they go, I have to think it's Oregon, Washington, Arizona, and Utah. And if you are not on that list, you're in real trouble now. Because there's no expansion that keeps us a Power 5 conference. There is no expansion that does that.
Yeah.
And the only thing that could be a saving grace for Oregon State is, who's the travel partner then for the Big Ten? I don't know. But if you're Oregon State and the Big Ten calls you and says, we'll give you $25 million a year for the next 5 years.
Pack everything up. We're going.
You have to go. You have to go.
Pack everything up. We're out of here.
You would take that in a heartbeat.
Yep.
You're giving away $75 million, but you take that in a heartbeat, don't you?
I mean, you can look at it as you're giving away $75 million, or you can say, hey, we just made $21 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, that's how I'd be looking at it.
Yeah, I think you have to do it. K-Stater says, best host QB combo in the Big 12 conference is Monty plus where there is a will, there is a way, Howard. Okay,
yeah, that was a damn good interview. I agree.
I agree. That was a great interview. Salty Drunk for $3. Man,
You okay,
my
dude?
voice is melting down. See, I went to a packed movie. I saw Oppenheimer on Saturday, and what do you know? All of a sudden, I'm a little scratchy. Salty Drunk, congratulations on the 20K, you guys. Thank you, Salty. I appreciate
you, bro.
You're a big part of our success, dude. Ian Stewart, it's crazy that a year ago people thought the Big 12 was going to get dismantled. Tony Eltimore is pissing his pants right now. Love the show, guys. I appreciate you commenting again. Thank you. It doesn't have to be that way. The problem is, again, in sports now, we're getting this spillover from politics where we can't have conversations.
Yeah.
It's you're an idiot, you're stupid, I'm right, you're wrong.
It's a truck stop conference.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
And the mouthpieces in the Pac-12 made this happen.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, John Canzano, saying that SMU is going to pay $70 million to join the conference.
That's one of the dumbest things anyone's ever said, respectfully.
With all due respect.
It is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And again, I don't generally call guys out by name, but John Canzano has screwed this up royally. He sat here on his website today talking about, hey, how can we upgrade Colorado? They're going to meet today to talk about, what is that, upgrading Colorado.
Uh-huh.
Like, are you serious? You're serious with that? Like, it's amazing to me. Gary Wolf wants to know where the hell is Gilstrap?
Yeah, where's Gilstrap at, dude?
Where's Gilstrap
Yeah,
at?
it disappeared on the biggest day of the year.
Ho, ho, Cougar Tracks. Bleachers for live shows. Great show, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Brigham's Boys gives us $10.
Brigham.
Homo tried to build bridges with Harlan and get the Utes a spot. Yes, he did.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to sit here and say that the Utes flipped their nose or anything, because I don't necessarily think that's what happened. But
not at all. But what did we report on the show?
Yeah.
We were told point blank. Tom Homo was working back channels. Brett Yormark started all of this with back channel conversations.
Yeah.
Used relationships in the conference to create new relationships. We were told by sources that Tom Homo reached out to connections he had at Utah and created a line of communication between the Big 12 and Utah, and that Utah and the Big 12 had extensive conversations. And at the end of that, Utah said, you know what, right now we feel like we are best served staying in the Pac-12 because we feel like moving to the Big 12 would cost us money in education dollars. And I can't say that I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Splitting from Washington, Oregon, Stanford, and Cal is an expensive business decision. Now you don't get to do what you want to do. Now you got to do what you have to do.
Correct.
And I just have a hard time sitting here believing, knowing the people that run Utah, the University of Utah, knowing how savvy and smart those people are, I have a hard time believing that they're not going to be in the Big 12.
Facts.
I have a hard time believing that. Brigham's Boys says Mark's response was, give me a break. Yeah, on that tweet.
Yeah,
you guys remember that?
I think that's a little rough, dude.
It was very difficult. Dennis Dodd, Big 12 readies to pounce on Four Corner schools as doubt creeps in about Pac-12's viability.
So I love you, Mark, but this is why you can't lose your head and roll out some stuff on Twitter.
He also said we are not leaving.
Yeah, because now and again, put that back up. When was that?
You look foolish.
That was in May, I think, or March or something, of Q1 sometime.
Something like that.
Like so at that time you were like, oh no, we're not leaving. But now you've signed an extension. Now you're committed to the university, and now it's in your best interest to leave.
That was in December.
Okay, December. So Q4 of last year. So again, different time, right? Narrative was different then. But I just think that the big lesson for any Pac-12 school that has been very anti-Big 12. Yeah, excuse me, Pac-10, thank you. The lesson is you can't be arrogant. You can't lack foresight. You can't lack the ability to see, okay, we don't get a distribution deal. This conference is going to be in a bad way. And, you got to learn that lesson. What have we done?
We have surpassed 1,000 likes.
Let's go.
We're at 1,026 likes on the show today. Thank you very much for that.
Hell yeah.
That very much helps the channel grow. What do we want to give away? Nudes?
No, not nudes. You guys don't want nudes.
You don't want to give away nudes.
Nope.
Okay, we could give away a gift card to Super Chicks in Ogden on Riverdale Road. or in St. George.
Yeah, we could do
Shout
that.
out to everybody in St. George, Utah. I know we have a pretty big contingent of listeners there. Listen, you guys, if you haven't been to Super Chicks yet, you're really missing out. No matter what chicken sandwich is your favorite, that's all over with now. You're in the Big 12 now. You got to go to Super Chicks where you get a full chicken breast, no thighs.
Yeah.
Get a full chicken breast. All their produce, their lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, chopped fresh in-house every day. As are all of their French fries. They make their custard in-house every day. They make their salads in-house every day. Their ranch is cut with Colombian pure cocaine.
That's right.
It is an addiction. It is amazing. Super Chicks is the only avenue to go on Riverdale Road in Ogden, in St. George as well. Make sure, please. And listen, I will go this far. If you guys tweet me a picture of you at Super Chicks today, not like a month ago, the next time you go to Super Chicks, tweet a picture at me. I will send you a Super Chicks gift card.
Yeah.
How about that? And right now, thanks to our friends at Super Chicks, should we pick one of our commenters?
Yeah.
One of our super chats?
Yeah.
Because we did tell you we would give away a gift card.
Yeah, and we're a man of our word.
And we're at 1,056 likes now.
Where are we at on subs? Are we even in the ballpark on subs?
Let's see. Where are we at on subs?
Let's see.
We're at 20,322.
Okay, so we've made good progress. I mean, we didn't
Picked
get to
up
the goal.
300 new subscribers
Yeah,
today.
but great progress. But
Great
okay,
progress.
Yeah. Amazon gift card to one of the commenters.
Let's see. Who had the best comment today? Where's my guy? Where is my guy? And Donuts. There you go. And Donuts, you just won a $100 gift card to Amazon. Make sure that you DM Jake on Instagram or Twitter, SLC Jake. And Donuts has been a longtime loyal listener who contributes to our golf fund pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And he played off of we'll see how loyal a hungry dog really is.
Yeah.
Love that, and Donuts. You just won a $100 gift card to Amazon. Make sure that you DM
me, bro.
Jake.
Do it.
Now, there are 1,800 people watching this show.
Yeah.
If we get another 1,000 likes, I'll give away another $100 Amazon gift card.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that's probably not going to happen, but hey, if you haven't hit the like button, go get it.
Yeah.
Right? So, and Donuts, make sure you hit up Jake. Thank you, Bill Farmer, for the $5. Jeremy Lindley. My wife and I started watching 3 weeks ago, and we are now hooked. Love your show, guys. Go Big 12.
I appreciate
that,
you,
Jeremy.
man. Thank you. Where I always love asking where you guys are based
Where
out of.
is everybody?
Yeah, where is
everybody?
everyone?
Comment where you guys are.
Yeah.
John Bolstar, thank you for the $2. Country Roads. BY2, his wife, bring the sheets in. That's an Oppenheimer reference.
Yeah, see what he did there?
It's an Oppenheimer
Yeah.
reference. Bring the sheets in. Steve Barnes for $20. Thanks, Steve. Can we get Brett Yormark on the 2024 election ticket? He humiliated George Kliashnikov and make Oregon sign a 10-year grant of rights. Exactly
Facts.
right. Exactly right. Lokeman, remember when Georgiekoff said Dion would add so much value to the conference? Oops, wrong conference. Yeah, who knew?
Seriously.
Curtis for $1, thank you. Jim Munson, if Oregon, Washington, Utah, Arizona State, and Oregon State want in the Big 12, do they stick with just 3 more? It's a great question.
It is a great question.
It's a great question. And Donuts for $2. Linear TV 1. Streaming being slow walk now. There's a real good chance that's accurate. There's a real good chance that's accurate. And I think, I will say again, one of the biggest mistakes is that the Pac-12 did not immediately get in bed and absolutely procreate with Amazon Prime Sports.
Agreed.
They should have absolutely created a non-breakable relationship with Amazon Prime Sports.
Yep.
And before that, YouTube TV. But Larry Scott wouldn't go to Google.
Yeah.
Cam Harrison for $2. What's up, Cam? Long time. Good to see you. Congrats on 20K. Shout out to Mo Bamba, my guy.
Shout out to Mo Bamba.
My guy.
Appreciate you, dude.
Love some Mo Bamba. All right, let's get you guys some shout-outs. Where are you listening to the show? Because you guys really take good care of us. We wouldn't have this show without you. And I really appreciate that. Jeremy Lindley says, misplaced Texans living in San Jose, California.
There you go.
Our former home.
Okay.
Salty Drunk, I have never seen the comments so active. Amazing. Yeah, we've had over 10,000 comments today. Laura Weiss is in Lubbock, Texas.
Go, Lubbock.
Texas is a huge part of our listenership. Brady Cook says West Point, Utah.
Utah.
Boss Frog says Dallas, Texas. What's up, Dallas?
Hey, excuse me. It's Tarrant County.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Tarrant County.
Yeah.
That was so funny. Vernon is in Denver, Colorado. What's up?
Right in the heart of this thing, man.
Love it, love it. Erica Cottle is in Salt Lake. Go Utes. What's up? Let's see. K-Stater says Duke City, Burke. Don't forget the green chili. Okay. AJM is in Salt Lake City, Utah. Preston's in Boise. ZX is in Houston. Go Cougs. It's fair. Pittsburgh, Lawrence, Denver, and Arizona.
Love it, dude.
LV Seminole says Kansas City. Construction Worker says so many Texas folks.
Damn right,
Let's
dude.
go. West Oklahoma. OKC. Texas. Love it. Junction City, Kansas. Jackson State will be getting an FBS invite from Conference USA soon, Marianne says. We'll see. Buckeye Lou's in Orlando. Steve Stepanek is in Minneapolis, Kansas. Jeff Woodworth is in Anchorage. Elaine Tran's in California. Let's go. Frisco, Texas. Will my balls itch is at your mom's house.
Bro.
Renee Roca, what's up? Titletown, Aledo, Texas. Wow, Texas. This is probably a huge shock, but I'm in Texas. Look at Texas on the show.
Representing, bro.
Let's go.
Representing.
All hat and cattle. Sunny V. Texas Hill Country. Tsunami warning is in Utah from having to come to Reno.
There you go.
I like it. Bryan, Texas. Katie Rader. What's up, Monty? Give gift cards to sponsors. Keep it in-house. Hey, man. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Happy to do it, man. Exactly right. Kim is in Arizona. Kaufman's in Wichita. Love it, you guys. Paxton says he's in jail. Hey, man. No, I'm not doing that. There's always hope. Hope is real.
Right.
Believe in hope.
Unless you're the Pac-12.
Mark is in San Francisco. Aaron's in Abilene. Knoxville. H-Town. Fred Larson says hook 'em.
Hug 'em.
Love it. Love it. 11-time football state champions, Matthew Farmer says. Okay. Justin is at Milwaukee, Justin Schrader. Los Angeles, California. Charisse is in OSU Buckeyes, the Ohio State. Love it. You guys are amazing. Absolutely love it. Tsunami Warming says, that was from before laughing at the idea of Utah in the Mountain West.
Dude.
Right? Tustin, California. Hello. We're going to golf in Tustin in a couple of weeks. C. Tizzy. Aaron says Lubbock. Construction Work says horns down. Amy E. says OKC. Let's go. OKC. Good to see you. LV Seminole. I cannot get bucked up Miami out here. Why not? Why not?
Come on, man.
You can order it online, dude.
I can probably ship you a case, LV Seminole. It is amazing. I have some cold right here.
Buckedup.com, Monty20.
Nick Hopkins is in Sarasota. Love it. Albuquerque, indeed. Love you guys, man. Good to see everybody in Tucson, in Denver, in Missoula, in Dallas. Dallas, huge in the house today. Tooele! I don't even have the voice to yell Tooele.
Damn.
Let's go. Waterloo, Waco, Penn State fan in Georgia. Mrs. Wilson's basement, send help. Oh, my God.
Damn.
Sorry,
I'm putting
Brandon.
in work.
Nashville, Cincinnati, New Braunfels, Texas. Let's go. Love
On
it.
to Cincinnati.
Indiana. Love you guys. Keep shouting them out. Kellen Hansen says the Jeezy. Kellen, DM Jake. We'll get you a gift card to Super Chicks in St. George. And by the way, we need to do a St. George get-together because we're coming down to golf. So we got to get through St. George and we got to get to Mesquite to golf.
Yeah.
Conference Commissioner Gumby says Uranus.
Uranus.
Biologics.
Biologics, exactly right. I love it. Zesty's Retro and Games. If the Big 12 adds Oregon and Washington, are they better than before 2021?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
You don't add Houston, Cincy, UCF, BYU to TCU. Texas Tech. What Joey McGuire's doing, forget it. Kansas State. Kansas. I mean, look at this conference. Again, I'll just say the mullet needs to win.
Yep.
Polk's got to get it done. I mean, if Mike Gundy wins, this conference is exponentially better.
Yep.
I mean, you own the state of Texas, including Tarrant County. Again, I think bringing in Houston is a massive win. Bringing in the 1 million viewers from BYU is a massive win.
Yep.
Another win for the Big 12. Adding BYU because the Pac-12 wouldn't. I mean, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
There's a whole laundry list.
It is absolutely amazing what you know. LV Seminole. Oh, comment dump. I lost you. LV Seminole, DM Jake. We'll get you some hookup. Mike Rayner gives us $50 for the kids. Let's go.
Damn,
the Monty
dude,
Show
appreciate
presented
you.
by our good friends at the Advocates. The Advocates are working with the Road Home, one of the foremost homeless organizations. And again, I know we have 1,600 people here. Stop giving us money. Start giving it to the Advocates. That's a Venmo address right there. Advocates donations. You guys, please help the kids get just basics of school needs. I'm not even talking about backpacks. I'm talking about underwear and socks. Homeless kids, it's a plague across this country. Homeless kids that get bullied, that don't have confidence because they're not wearing underwear, because they don't have socks, because they have torn pants, and not the cool way of tearing your pants, because they have one shirt and they wear the same shirt every single day. And sometimes, I was talking to the people at the Advocates. There are kids who show up in the middle of winter wearing a long sleeve t-shirt that they wore yesterday and they'll wear tomorrow because they don't have a winter coat. Think about that. $5 from 100 people goes a hell of a long way for buying socks and underwear, backpacks, pencils, papers. Imagine being a kid who wears the same outfit to school. You're getting bullied, and yet you're trying to learn to read and write.
Yeah.
That's what the Advocates and the Road Home are working so passionately to fix. Hook it up, please. There's your Venmo. Advocates donations on Venmo. Put in there, helping the kids from the Monty Show. That'd be perfect. Or just helping the kids, because we care and we are trying to give. So thanks to everybody who has donated. I really, really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. We have 1,100 likes. We have over 15,000 views on the show today. You guys are amazing.
Quick little quote here. Stuart Mandel just did a whole thread on the press conference that Rick George did.
Yes.
AD of Colorado. Rick George said that there will be less travel for Colorado in the Big 12.
There will be.
Quote, playing in a more favorable time slot where they can get greater national exposure was a priority. He also said a lot has been made about linear partners in today's day and age. Fox and ESPN are who we want to be aligned with.
Yes.
Dude. I mean, what more do you need? You know,
Yes.
I mean, I know that's pretty straightforward. That's been the conversation. Obviously, that's been kind of the priority. But now it's a reality, right? I feel like there's some closure we're getting now out of Rick George, where it's like, hey, this is where we want to be. We want to be in a better position. And I just want to hammer that home, because that's all that matters. You have to be on TV, and then you got to be in the right time slot. And if you can't do that in your conference, you got to make a change.
Seriously. Absolutely. Aaron Wilson gives us $2 to say everything runs through Lubbock. Signed Joey McGuire. May well this year. No doubt about it. I think that from Rick George right there really is a good way to surmise what happened today. The Pac-12 died today.
Do you think that's too strong?
No,
You think it's
I
on
don't.
point?
Because I think when you look at this situation, I mean, who here believes that Colorado's the only one?
Nobody.
Because Oregon and Washington are interested in 9-team conferences. And if you add San Diego State and UNLV, SMU, you're still a 9-team conference. Because those are not P5s. And by the way, again, I just simply ask, the thing that's being overlooked today, how does George Kliavkoff look at a distribution partner in the face and say, yeah, absolutely, you guys should pay us $200 million a year for our TV games?
Yeah.
How do you talk to Apple now and say, yeah, we're just like Messi. We'll bring a bunch of new subscribers. You will?
Yeah.
With 9 teams in your conference.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, you can't. I mean, nine teams just doesn't work.
How.
And I think it's the underlying thing here that's been the issue the whole time, right? I mean, if we really boil this thing down and get down to the foundation of the problem isn't 9 teams necessarily. The problem is you're not strong enough with your leadership and your brass of the conference, and really, in my opinion, at these schools, a lot of them, to run a conference that's at a disadvantage at the starting line, right? So if I said, hey, and we did see this in the Big 12. Hey, 2 schools are leaving. Oh, Texas and Oklahoma are out. Big 12's dead. You guys remember all that? Everyone left the Big 12 for dead. And the Big 12 has the leadership and the know-how and the vision to say, hey, dude, we're not dying. This is how we're going to come back from this, right? We're going to make new revenue streams. We're going to grow the value of our conference, and we are going to be patient with that Pac-12 situation because we know what they don't have. And that's the X factor in the commissioner's office, doing what great commissioners do. And ultimately, that's why this conference is dead today. And it's really unfortunate. And I don't know if 6 teams leave the conference for the Big 12 or 4 or whatever the number ends up being. But that's where we're headed. That's happening. Today's Thursday. It's not going to happen by the end of the week, I wouldn't guess. But early next week, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I also think that there's a couple of other really important notes in that comment right there. Number 1, the word linear. What have we been reporting on this show for the better part of a year?
Mm-hmm.
Half the presidents in this conference will not accept a full stream deal. What did Rick George just say? The importance of linear TV. Number 2, we have told you that most of the presidents in this league would be on board with a split of linear versus streaming, but under no circumstances would a grant of rights be signed if it was more than 50%. I think this comment from Rick George, the athletic director of Colorado, spells out just how accurate that was. This conference, and for better or for worse, they're a bunch of old heads, dude. They're a bunch of academic bros that really don't understand technology and really do not embrace the ways of the young people because they're academias.
Yeah.
They're professors. They're PhDs. They're MBAs. They're not ADs. They're not. Notice that we're quoting Rick George, the athletic director.
Yeah.
The same guy who lowered academic standards in Boulder to get Deion Sanders. The same guy now who's taken Colorado back to the Big 12. The same guy who has, in my opinion, indicated multiple times that he really values the state of Texas by hiring Deion Sanders. He really values the state of Florida by hiring Deion Sanders. And I know it pisses people off every time I say it, but I'm going to continue to say it. The Big 12 runs through Dallas.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't run through Houston.
With all due respect.
Doesn't run through Lubbock. Doesn't run through Stillwater. Doesn't run through Manhattan. Doesn't run through Lawrence or Provo or Boulder. It runs through Dallas, Texas. Because that's the heartbeat of this conference.
Facts.
You don't have to like it in Cincinnati. You don't have to like it in Orlando. But you better learn to love it. Because the Big 12 and more of the SEC, it runs through Dallas, Texas. Whether you want it to or not. I don't even think it's arguable in the Big 12. And that's not a slight. That's not a slight to anybody in this conference. But Dallas is where you're going to win and lose.
Yeah.
You have sunken your anchor on the stadium floor at AT&T Stadium in good old Tarrant County, Arlington, Texas. Your championship game is going to be there. Your football media days is going to be there. Your pro day is going to be there. Right? I mean, that's where the heartbeat of this conference is. And I don't care that basketball runs through Kansas City because it runs through Dallas.
Yeah, football is more important than basketball.
And I know that was one, people lost their minds when I said that a couple of weeks ago. When we got back from Big 12 football media days, people lost their ever-loving minds when I said, hey, Big 12, it's, you remember the SEC said, oh, we're doing media day next year at the Omni Hotel. Well, that's cool. But what are you doing at the Omni Hotel? Well, you're taking a shot at the Big 12. Because in the Big 12, it's Dallas. And people are like, oh, you're an idiot. Well, what do you think the SEC's doing at the Omni Hotel? Oh, anniversaries and UT. Fuck that. They're taking a shot at the Big 12. What do you think the SEC thinks today? What do you think the Big 10 thinks today? What do you think the Pac-12 thinks today? Holy shit, the Big 12 got us. It actually happened. The Big 12 runs through Dallas.
Do you know, like, think about this. Think about a place where all the commissioners are in the same room. Do you know the kind of power that Yormark would have if he was able to get, like, these 4 schools we're talking about? Washington, Oregon, Oregon State, Arizona, any combination of those schools in the PAC that we've discussed today.
Yes.
Do you understand just how much of a flex that would be?
Oh.
Next year, when we will be at Big 12 Media Days, you can be sure about that. When we will be there, dude, if this happens next week, because it's not going to happen this week, right? There's going to be meetings tonight and maybe private sessions tomorrow if all things go the right way. Early next week, if all these teams announce, dude, I'm telling you, the college football landscape will be flipped on its head. And I'm telling you, it's just, we've never seen anything like this before.
Nothing. Big shout out to Nick Hopkins, our newest member.
Yeah. Let's go, baby. Welcome.
Big shout out to Rafael Rodriguez, our newest member.
Let's go.
Let's go. You guys are kicking ass. Salty Drunk, forgive my ignorance. How our conference is graded? Oh, by the membership, period. Alabama and Georgia. And
so
everybody
Salty
else.
Drunk is an Australian.
He lives in Melbourne, Australia.
NBA guy, right? So the way this works, Salty, and I don't know if you know this or not. You've got the Power 5 conferences, right? Then underneath that, you've got the Group of 5 conferences. Pac-12 is a Power 5 conference.
Pac-12, Big 12, ACC, SEC, Big 10.
Right. So now that we have the Pac-12, Pac-10, Pac-0 burning to the ground, the question's going to be, okay, do we have the Power 4 conferences, right? The 4 conferences remaining. And then do we have Group of 6, right? Six conferences, or what that's going to look like.
And the small Group of 6, Group of 5 don't have ready access to the championship of college football.
Yeah.
They have to do something crazy to get there.
Yeah.
Whereas the top 6 conference champions essentially have automatic access. If you're a conference champion and you're ranked in the top 6, you're in the college football playoff. And it's expanding and whatnot, but that's how conferences are graded. Quinn Gallagher, working at Tustin Ranch Golf, come play ASU Big 12. We will, I believe, I'm not even kidding you,
Yeah,
Quinn.
I believe that's where we're going.
We are going to a wedding shower.
Bridal shower.
Bridal shower. Same fucking thing.
You got to get the nomenclature
No,
right,
I
dude.
actually don't, because I'm a dude with testicles
Sorry,
and
you're
I don't
offended
know
by
how
that.
that stuff works.
Well,
yeah, we are going to Tustin Ranch Golf Club on September 2nd at 6:10 a.m.
Boom.
Me and Jakey, 2 holes, back to front row over here.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely see you there.
Yeah.
I would love to think ASU to the Big 12, but I highly doubt that.
We'll see.
I highly doubt that. Highly, highly, highly doubt that. Cam says Tennessee, West Virginia waxed that ass. Okay. Wow. Why are Greg Hawkins? No,
that can't be.
Hold on.
I know your voice is shot today, but are your eyes working?
Whew. Dude, I hung out with Aaron Rodgers last night. We were sipping on that ayahuasca.
Were you in the darkness too?
Yeah, and I was crapping myself.
Damn.
Greg Hawkins.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Big 12 Anon was right about everything.
Greg, are you okay, dude? Greg,
do we need a wellness check?
Hey, look here, man.
Greg Hawkins says, I have no confidence our admin at Utah has the Bulls to pivot quickly enough to make the move. We will probably dig our heels in until the PAC Mountain West. You won't. I don't think you will. I seriously don't think you will. I think that is going to happen. Did Greg say something else? Because he said also. Greg Hawkins. Holy cow. 3 comments.
let's go, Greg.
You
Appreciate
guys don't understand that Greg Hawkins is an international star of film and television. And not even pornography. Like, he's a model. And I will say, you're a good-looking dude. You're a good-looking dude. And he's an actor and an all-around good dude. And he just became a father. Everybody shout out Greg Hawkins. I want Utah back in the Big 12, but they have BYU already. Will they even need us, especially now that they have total leverage? It's not a need. It is an
excellent question, dude.
I don't think it is. I think the quality of the athletic department, the money that you make from, academics, research, the prestige of back-to-back conference champions, Rose Bowl appearances. I mean, you want Utah.
But look, I think there's a real question around the Big 12's presence in the Mountain region, right? And this is no disrespect to Utah. As I've said for 3 hours now almost, and for 6 months, I love Utah. I'd love to see them in the Big 12. I think they're a perfect fit in the Big 12. But at a certain point, you can only have so many schools in a certain region, right? Like, I'm not sure that that the Big 12 needs a third member in the Mountain region.
You put Utah in the playoff one time, and we won't have this discussion.
I agree. But again, they haven't made it to the playoff. You haven't shown the ability to get into the college football playoff. You've shown the ability to get to major New Year's Six bowl games.
They've got to beat Florida.
Agreed.
Please, God.
Please, seriously.
If you can hear me, God, and I know that you're a BYU and a Notre Dame fan, and BYU when Notre Dame's off. But God, if you can hear me. Oh. Well, Greg, you're screwed. He sent Moses. Hello, Moses. No, I'm kidding. Part the Gator Sea. Tanner Plummer. With the Pac-12 defeated, the next opponent for Yormark in the Big 12 are the SEC and the Big 10. I don't think so. Those two conferences will probably go all out to bring down the Big 12. I think if you get to, if you get to 18, I can't see him going to 20.
No.
I can't see him going to 20. I mean, the problem is Oregon and Washington changed the conversation. They absolutely changed the conversation, right? So I think you're in a position where I just don't know how you handle this. I mean, how valuable is Oregon and Washington to the Big 12?
Highly.
So if they're highly valuable,
yeah,
I think that's what pushes Utah out.
Yeah.
That certainly pushes Oregon State out.
I think Oregon and Washington are more valuable to the Big 12 than Utah. Certainly. That's college football playoff proven ability.
Well, if you're at 12 right now,
yeah,
next year, a year from now, if you're at 12, can you see adding 6 Pac-12 teams?
Well,
I mean, that puts you at 18.
It's an even number, and I think that the problem with 18 though is like, okay, so if you go Oregon, Washington, Utah, no, but think about it: Oregon, Washington, Utah, Arizona. That's 4, right? Who are the other 2 going to be? Because that's where the choice really is. If you're going to go all in on this thing, if you're Brett Yormark, right, you're definitely adding those 4.
Gonzaga and probably UConn.
Well, what about Oregon State?
I think if you get Oregon, if you add Oregon, Washington, Arizona, and Utah with Colorado, now you're at 17. You pick up Gonzaga, now you're at 18.
Yeah.
And you'd probably need, Gonzaga's basketball only. I get
Gonzaga.
it. But, and I don't know, does Gonzaga have nearly as much value now as they did before? Probably not.
No, that's an interesting question.
Not if you had Arizona.
And if you're Gonzaga, do you have interest in joining the Big 12, or would you rather just continue on your path?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
I think 18 would be the maximum. I can't see adding more. I see a lot of people asking about Bobby Robbins being in London. I mean, I've heard this. I don't know this to be fact. They have fucking phone service in London.
They do?
I love everybody who's like, oh, he's in London, dude. They can't move to the Big 12.
Did you know that internet is a global proposition?
You think Dave Hickey just died? They can smartphones, bros. Excuse my French. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. I truly do. Riley O'Brien says, "Hey, Monty, how does it feel for you and Jake to be the hosts of the best damn sports show in Utah?" Hey, Monty. Well, not bad. Not bad. And for those of you who don't know, our show started as a Utah-only show. We're a national show now, clearly. Well, maybe actually we're a Tarrant County show.
Tarrant County.
You know, Big Dog O-Town. Is Utah going back to like the late 80s, mid 90s being BYU's little brother again? Relax. Relax.
Hey, it's Big 12 country out here, okay?
Yeah, time to put up a billboard. I think they did that already, actually. Too much gravy for all the biscuits once fart sounds.
Well, it is that time of the show, Grum.
It is. That, you know. You know, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let's see. It looks like big shout out to Mike Rayner, who gifted 10 show memberships.
Let's go, baby.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I need to clarify. Dabo Sweeney's 805 winning percentage wants us to know that, correction, God is a Clemson fan. Sorry,
In God's name, image, and likeness.
Well, Jesus, who's the son of a Jewish carpenter, he hangs out at Notre Dame during football.
It's probably different than what you're thinking, though.
He's the guy that signals touchdown for Notre Dame.
And that's how I look at it.
You know, and because Lou Holtz sinned, you know, there was a holding penalty on Rocket Ishmael's kickback. So, you know.
Right.
It happened.
It is what it is.
You know, and because Bob Davies sinned, Manti Te'o's girlfriend was murdered.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Do you know what that's like these days?
You know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You're not wrong.
I know.
You're not wrong.
I know, and I try not to be wrong.
Yeah.
So a couple more comments. Let's roll through. You guys have been phenomenal today. We have had over 10,000 comments now, according to the YouTube machine. Let's see. Sid Irish says, but God's mother is a Notre Dame fan. That's right. That's right. Our mother. Amen. No, not my mother. No.
My fucking ass.
Yeah, probably. Raider Mark, Monty and Jake, you guys have been nailed. Hello?
Hello?
Monty and Jake, you guys have been nails on this. Thank you, Raider Mark. I appreciate that. We have really tried. He said, great job. Thank you. Case Stater in Albuquerque says, Big 12 could go to 10 East teams, 10 West teams if 20. I would love to see 20.
Yeah, that'd be badass.
Because those 20 teams, if you get the best of the Pac-12, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Vorlon, 1811, Will Robbins step down from the PAC CEO board before AZ jumps to the top? I still can't believe they put him on there. I still can't believe it. Jeremiah Champion says, best sports show ever. Thank you. Jeremiah, always good to see you. Stubby. Ho-ho! Unless they can beg their way into the Big Ten, I think they'd have to join. Will they really stay in a sinking ship? Who's that? Who do
Utah,
you?
I would guess.
Utah?
Is what that is.
Nah, I don't think Utah has to beg anybody.
Okay, real quick. We got a good old-fashioned fight that's about to break out if you're a baseball fan. Dude.
Yeah, I've been watching this.
Bro. Wow, and now we have an ejection.
Miles Mikolas just got thrown out of the game. Cubs and Cardinals, top of the first, 2 outs. I believe it was
Ian
Happ on his follow-through of his swing hit Wilson Contreras in the back of the head. Willie is the former catcher of the Cubs who went to the Cardinals. So, you know, everybody just roundly said, okay, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So now Miles Mikolas, after that happened and Willie's head was cut, he was bleeding. They taped him up and put a little chaw on it and stuff. Contreras gets back behind the dish. Happ steps back into the box. Mikolas throws at him.
Yep.
Umpires get together. They throw Miles Mikolas out of the game. To which I say, St. Louis.
Now, next inning, who's going to throw at the Cardinals?
That would be interesting.
Continue.
Joseph Melendez for $5. I hope that you guys know that you're going to be huge in Texas very shortly. Your show fits in here very well. Oh, I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. We love the great state of Texas.
Yeah.
We love the great state of Texas. Thank you for the $5. We appreciate that. If you have not hit the like button yet, and you are one of the 17,000 people who have watched the show today, please consider hitting the like button before you get out of here. Also, please consider getting to trydaytrading.com. Trydaytrading.com/Monty. I'm telling you guys, we've talked about this repeatedly on the show. I know there's a lot of new people who don't know what trydaytrading.com is. If you do not know what day trading is, you've got to get to trydaytrading.com. Now, did you make $1,000 at work today? Oh, you didn't. Trydaytrading.com. See, because Tri-Day Trading is going to teach you and educate you on how to become one of the best day traders in the world. And people instantly say, well, the market's in the shitter. Why would I want to do that? But that's exactly right. Because when the market's bad, day trading's good. When the market's really good, day trading's really good. It's always good because you're dipping in and out. And at trydaytrading.com, a $10 charitable donation gets you a 30-day trial membership at trydaytrading.com/Monty. Try it for $10. Buy yourself a new voice. I'm a little hoarse today.
Yeah.
Try it for $10. And I'm telling you, if you want to do it part-time, you'll make $300 to $500 a day part-time. Takes about an hour and a half to program your process in the morning. You go to work, you come back home, all day you made money. Pay for your car payment, your mortgage every month. Pay for that rental property you've always wanted to buy. Maybe you just want to afford a vacation. TryDayTrading.com. Live the life you've always dreamed of. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Let's end the show with 4 minutes to go. Reading your comments today. Tanner says, is 20 too much? I don't think 20 is too much.
I don't think it's too much. I just think we've never seen it before. It has to be run the right way. But if there was a guy for it, Brett's the guy.
And in the Big 12, that would be amazing. Moth Prof, how are you? Think big, Big 12. Oregon, Washington, FSU, Clemson to the Big 12, Zona, and Utah. Clemson and Florida State are SEC teams.
Yeah, agreed.
In my opinion.
Better fits in the SEC.
Reggie Bailey says, Big 12, we are all. There you go. There you go. John Dry, see y'all tomorrow. Luckily, there will be more realignment every day.
I think so.
Hello, Mary Arn. Arizona struggled to beat North Dakota State, who couldn't hold a candle to Jackson State. They aren't going nowhere. That's an elite basketball program in Arizona. And I think Arizona State could be right. Arizona is a quality institution.
Yeah.
You want Arizona. Alexander Smitley, I hope they can add all those teams and they still find room for Oregon State. Me too. Absolutely. K-State was in their position 2 years ago when Utah and OU, or when Texas and OU left. I feel for them. It is. Absolutely. Derek Roche says Mbappe said no to $400 million of blood money. In Saudi Arabia, he said no. It's amazing. It's amazing. Mike Rayner, hey, Monty, doing the day trade, killing it. Let's go, Mike Rayner. I love it.
Let's go, Mike.
I'm telling you, day trading, you guys. I think everybody thinks it's a gimmick or, dude, it's a living and it will make you bread.
Let's go.
It will absolutely make you bread. Greg Hawkins replying to Jeremy Callahan, you're right, and it's a terrible look for us, especially now. Jeremy Callahan says Utah doesn't have any better football resume than K-State does. I don't see K-State fans going around acting like they are a program equivalent to Bama. I love the Utes. I respect the hell out of them. Their fans are terrible to deal with. Greg is quite literally one of the only Utah fans that has a brain on him.
Yeah.
And doesn't lose his mind. And Ute Twitter is horrendous. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Taylor Smith, is there a world where the PAC stays together? I don't think so.
Yeah, I struggle with that, dude.
I don't think so. Greg Hawkins, my Twitter feed is filled with our fans beating their chest saying we'll come into the 12 and win it right away. It's so embarrassing. Like, how can we talk trash at this point? I have no idea. No idea. Adam Salamini. When CU left for the Pac-12, they cited California recruiting. They could still get that cough, cough, San Diego State. Yeah, now they're citing Texas recruiting. So, Gary Wolf, lesson from Pac-12 death. Pride goeth before the fall. Yes,
Facts.
It does. Yes, it does.
Facts.
The Monty Show, as always, is presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. You guys are amazing. At The Advocates, they're amazing too, because you never pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case. You never go into your pocket. You never pay them a penny. In fact, you can, for free right now, chat with an injury attorney online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, theadvocates.com. Tell them you heard about it on The Monty Show. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.